Welcome to the 860 show. I'm gonna call this Sunday edition the corner, Coach's Corner, because we have two great coaches on here. We have my guy T.O. and we have my other guy Chris Legree in the building. Now, before we get into what we're talking about today, we're definitely gonna break down what T.O. posted, and I wanted to reach out to him to let him know, like, hey man, the thought process and everything, and then of course on the other side, we got Coach Chris because I don't know how many time champion in Kingston Park, but definitely his input with just the players, his knowledge of the game, and him just being out there, just playing for so long out there. Um, and I think this is a great way to start off our Sunday because we do it on Sunday. It's nighttime. It's 7 o'clock. The weather's beautiful in Kingston Park. And I know Chris is probably walking around. T.O. is probably walking around, making sure who's coming through that gate right about now. To see who's showing up because it's about to be prime time. And look, it's a battle for first place. You know what I'm saying? Early in the season, Showtime versus Mo Better. So that's what's going on right about now. So I just want to say thank you to my brothers for giving me this opportunity to interview you guys. Thank you for always supporting me. And let's get into it. T.O., listen,
Yep.
you started some trouble, man. You started some trouble. I want to know what that thought process was for you to even go into something like that. I want to know what that's like. So can
I,
you please break that down for us?
I didn't want to do it that way. I wanted um, Brooklyn. I wanted the guys to do it. When the guys, when they come together and do it, from peer to peer, I think that was it would have been more effective. But the hate was still too real. I got it. I said, well, try ranking guys, and uh, that didn't work. I tried to, I thought about maybe getting the panel, you know what I mean, just managers only, you know what I mean, but that didn't work. So I said, you know what if we had a tournament and, I spaced out, I could have won 6 teams. I could have legitimately won six. But when I started breaking down what I thought to be player tiers, and I was quick to mention that this is just from my perspective. It wasn't from a panel. It was just off my brain. And if I had to do it, it would probably look like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about at first we talk about the decade. I was only going to go, especially with management. This was the toughest because I mean, damn, he went half the decade. You know what I'm saying? So that didn't leave much room, you know what I mean, for too many others. But there's absolutely no way you can get this done without having to be able to Either did I, Frank did, but then when I looked at the teams, I'm like, for instance, St. Andrews. I only thought it, I don't know why, but only two names popped into my brain, and that was Wayne and Kenny Kings.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Looking at that mix, I'm like, damn, only two cats are going to be able to roll with that mix. You know what I mean? And the last one, with all those veterans, I want Coach to break down the team, though. I'm going to read them out, or you can read them out. But the one team, only a legend, only a guy that these dudes are going to respect, are going to be able to lead them. And there was one dude, your boy Fatty, you know what I'm saying? I made Fatty the manager of that team. He did have a team in the league, the Legends, you know what I mean? So I'm not too far off. You know what I mean? And adding him, he did not win in the decade, but thinking about that personnel, they needed someone of that stature to put it at, to be at the helm. But with Coach, I said, damn, I know what his core is. And I'm telling you, Coach, I almost gave you Derek Oliver, because you always walk. You know, I know the story. You know, I almost gave you Derek Oliver, but I want you to hear the team I put out there for you. If you haven't seen it already, have you seen it?
No,
Go.
what is it?
Okay, I had Al leading off, Lecce batting second, Larry batting third, I had Will batting fourth. Now for the DH, I gave you Panama. I got Jake behind the plate. And now here's another move that I thought about and I switched up. You know, originally I had Lenny Benjamin at first for you. But Lenny was also one of the best pitchers in the league. He was locked down, you know. So I had to spread those four guys out. But I put Russell at first. And you know, the one thing that I noticed, you know, you got every ounce of everything that a guy had. You know, you're going to get what you need out of him. And when I started looking at the middle of this lineup, I got Speedy in the 8 hole. I gave you Marlin at third base. You know, I gave you Marlin, and again, this was another position I thought about because I had Tony Cherry over at third for you. But now if I give you Tony Cherry and Derek Olive, I mean that's just, you know what I mean, too rugged, you know. But I put Marlin at third base. I mean, he did play with you, and look, you didn't need a whole bunch of muscle to win. You know what I mean? I even think I might have slighted this group, you know what I mean, a player or two, you know, muscle wise, you know. But you got Jeff in the 10 hole, and I got Gordon playing right field. I'm sorry. Nobody played that corner better than Gordon. Nobody played it better than Gordon. Nobody played it better than Gordon.
He dropped for a little bit, but I think he'll join back in. But here's my thing, T.O. When you was putting this together, right?
Mhm.
And I'm looking at an Al, a Lecce, a Larry, and I'm thinking about the tournament you're doing,
Mhm.
and I look at some of the people out there, Panama, Marlin, like even in that DH hole, for
Mhm.
that type of team, you could have kind of went any way you want with that. And then you look at it where you probably didn't even need an extra hitter or DH because you know Speedy wants to hit. First of all,
Well, yeah, well,
Speedy's not gonna let you.
you're not going to hit for speed. You're not going to hit for speed.
And he don't want to hit eighth, may I add. Go ahead.
Yeah,
You're not going to hit for speed. It's not going to happen. You know?
Yeah, he's not gonna be very motivated hitting eighth.
right.
He's gonna be mad. He's gonna be mad, but
He's gonna be hot as fish grease. Like, why am I batting all the way down here?
I don't care who you got. He ain't gonna like eighth.
Right.
You know,
So when you did the EH and the DH, I'm like, and Speedy pitching? Oh no, that ain't gonna
you know, I had to, you know, I was thinking about foot speed. I mean, at this point, man, when you got to line up this stack, you know what I mean? Just pull a name out the freaking hat, you know. But Marlon and you know, I thought about. I mean, I know how you get down, Delroy, as you do. You know, Delroy fits. You know, he honestly does fit. But me personally, and again, this is me. You know, if I'm coming out there every Sunday, I got Al and Jeff up the middle. Fuck you. You know what I mean? And it's just the absolute two best you could have up the middle as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? Defensively. And it's not like neither one of these guys not going to hit the fucking rock. You know what I mean? And with Gordon, now I gave you and here's another thing. You know, this got weird also. You know, I chose 4 hybrids. There was Vito, Eric, Matt, and Dougie. Okay. You know, now I already had these 4 dudes spread out. I already had him spread out. But for Chris's team, I didn't think Vito and maybe, I didn't think Vito or maybe, maybe Matt, you know what I mean? You know, for a lack of a better word, emotionally would, would slide in and click. You know what I mean? But James played with the man. You know what I'm saying? And you can take Al and put him on either side. You talk about flexibility. If Jeff's, should not happen to be working that day, you can easily put James at short and move Al at second. You know what I'm saying? And but now the thing with Vinny is Vinny plays both. Jeff does not play short at all. You know what I'm saying? So, but I also gave him one of my favorite players that I've had throughout the years, Bones. You know what I mean? Bones is without a doubt, and I kept numbers, man. Bones was about like a 650 hitter anyway. But when you put a runner on in scoring position and 2 outs, this motherfucker was hitting about 800. I mean, it was sickening. It was sickening. He was my line up flipper. It was bananas, the numbers this dude had, and I gave, now here's, again, I could have muscled up here a little bit more, but I gave you a guy that a lot of cats didn't talk about too much, but could hit the fuck out of that rock. That was Mike Marsh.
And played the whole infield and the outfield.
You know what I'm saying? Mike, look, man, Mike was a dangerous dude, man.
Killer.
A dangerous cat. And not only that, he was cerebral. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he would have, he was the type of dude that would come in and, I think he would fit in and, wait for his turn, play his role. I thought he was a really good ball player. And for your second starter, all right, I gave you Riz Diaz. I went, as far as I was concerned, my top 4 was Speedy, Nesto, Chepo, and Speedy, Nesto, Chepo, and Lenny Benjamin. You know what I mean? I thought about it. I spread it. I spreaded those 4 out, and then behind that, I figured the next 4 I would have used would have been Tep Senior. I was there. I saw him. With him and Bruce together. Fuck you. You know what I mean? If I'm playing for money, I got no problems throwing that man out there. Mm-hmm. All right. And then I went with Riz Diaz, Chris Howard, and Willie Soto. You know what I mean? After that, I find it hard to find pitching that would have contained either one of these 4 teams. But and Sharon was the scorekeeper because I'm sorry, the ladies were just, were important out here also. I hear the stories about how, they used to bring the kids out and the ladies would take care of them so they could play. I didn't see
you in the outfield too.
And I could have added, maybe one more break to this lineup. You know what I mean? But then again, I was thinking about the man running it. You know what I'm saying? He's going to wring everything you got out of you to have you perform at your best. And I'm sorry, if you got a Panama and a fucking Russell operating at full efficiency, then Larry, Will, Panama, Jake, Russell, and Speedy, that's just long. You know what I mean? It's as long as any other middle of the lineup that these other 3 teams have got. I know he, I thought he he would have to make it more him. I would say maybe a Delroy at second, and even there was another name that I really thought about, and that was Salam. I mean, Salam is, you know, I would consider more defensive. You know what I mean? But he was truly one of the better, you know, first baseman. It wasn't that he, you know what I mean? It wasn't he couldn't hit. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, and maybe either a Tony a Cherry or a Derek Oliver would have fit nicely over here as well. You know what I mean? But, you know, I went with a lot with what the guy, you know what I mean, does with players, what he brings out of, you know, he brings out of guys. You know, Russell won a championship over there. You know what I mean? And if anybody was going to get this dude to pull a freaking ball, guess who did it? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, with that, you know, I thought 2-5 was a good fit here. Well, it was more benefit, you know, actually, in thinking about it, might have been a little bit more beneficial for him, you know what I mean, than for Chris. But I thought he did. I thought what he did with Russell, you know what I'm saying, just made the dude damn near automatic over there. You know what I mean?
Coach, how do you feel about that in your input?
All that I just heard in terms of, well, I'm writing notes as he talking,
Mm-hmm.
and it you just proved one of the things that my approach with this is this. You know how many players you just named? Not one person you just named is ill of talent, you know, or something about them that, you know, that was special or that we remember, right? When I look at this whole 360, the whole thing, Al, you've been doing, I always try to set a criteria. Who's the great ones? Who's the, you know, like there was some good ones. Who's that next level up? And as you were talking, I wrote down Junior, Larry, Foster, Lefty from Brooklyn. You mentioned Russell. Before before all this talk, we had Wahoo. You know, before he really got ill, Wahoo was, you know, great. Dwight, number 72.
Yes.
Cap Jr., Cap Senior. It goes on. I love Rodney, for example. You talking about third base, right?
Hot Rod. Right.
And I love Rodney. I love the way he played. I love the way he ran. He's a baseball IQ guy, and he just had lines. You know, it just go on and on. We had a lot of great athletes, right? Here's the other thing. You said something earlier about hate. The hate. And I used to always tell people the thing that separated Kingston Park from most of the other leagues, you can say the dimension, the right field, but really it was the emotions.
Mm-hmm.
If you check the emotions and the speed, watching Tep and some of these guys go that 60 feet out? Box to first base or from first to third. Derek Manamoto going from first to third.
Third was a fucking beautiful thing to watch.
But how many? Al, the guy on this line right now, he wasn't slow. He won. You know, these guys are sliding in the bases, right? So Derek Oliver. Derek Oliver he's one of the best ever. He's the best ever. And he was an underrated outfielder. People ain't, you know, he could track a ball really well. He ain't the greatest arm, but you know what? He got the ball in the right place.
Yes, indeed.
So, all right, here's my take on it. Of course, I'm consistently. I always think about people who win a lot. I've been listening to this talk about Kingston Park and all that, and the Mo Better legacy. That's what comes to my head because that's what I lived. Right? It was all about winning. Everybody came out there. It was all about winning, and I think that's what fueled the emotion of the league, and that's why it's 30 years later we still talking about it. I think I could be wrong. It's just my opinion. Okay. So when I look at first base, there's no way in the world I can't think about Lenny Benjamin because
Mhm.
one year, the first year Mo Better won the championship, we played Brooklyn.
Mm.
That year, Lenny must have hit about 650 off that right field fence.
Mm.
Just 9 drives. I remember the year he had, and I was concerned about him going in. The other thing about Lenny I loved the way he could throw.
Mm.
So we used to get the ball. Al knows this. We got the ball out the right field corner. Our outfielders were instructed to hit the cutoff on the right field line.
Mhm.
Lenny to his glove side.
Mm-hmm.
He left-handed. Yep. But he had great throwing, and he threw across the diamond. It was a great line to third. We got a lot of guys on 3. And then home.
Mm.
And you know how he feels. He's a
Mhm.
and he could throw, and then coach, you said it. He became a fairly good pitcher. He could pitch good, and he had a good glove up the middle.
Yeah.
All right. Second base. I'm just going to go quicker. Second base. Delroy is my captain.
I told you, you know what I mean?
You said that, Tio. You said that.
I told you.
Yo, let me tell you something. And I love Jeff, and you know it.
I know that.
Love Jeff.
Yeah.
And when he told me that this morning, all day, I kept, you know how we do go back and forth. And my references with Delroy are he's consistent, underrated defensively, because he just did when he got his hands on it, he got the ball in the right place. He positioned the way we wanted. He wasn't ranged like Jeff. He couldn't dive like Jeff. He wasn't acrobatic like that. Is not his. He's not a 3-point shooter. He's not. He's a mid-range. I'm using basketball analogies, and he's consistent and he's clutch as hell.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I ever batted that young man no lower than 2.
Mm-hmm.
I had Tony Cherry first, Delroy. Whatever, 72 first, Delroy. Okay? He had one of the better inside-out swings consistently, obviously, so is him. Now, here, let's have some fun now. Shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
That's a...
I don't even know how we stopping there.
Slide right.
You might as well just keep moving.
Slide
You
right.
might as well keep moving.
No, me and Terry had these conversations before.
Slide right.
Al Watson is Al Watson. He's institutional. Now, when you say Al Watson, then you think, I don't remember Mark Archer.
No, I've heard so much about that, brother.
Archer was tall and he had like a skinny creek.
Oh.
But fast and a gun and all this. Tep.
Yeah.
Tep. 7. Look at his styles when it comes to them guys. And another thing about those guys, of course we're going to talk about Butch, but I'm just going to top.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys were quarterbacks on the whole infield.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I look at, because you mentioned second base. Al Watson was one of those guys, when you matched your second baseman, you could do certain things because you knew he's a short.
Yes, indeed.
Or if you look at Tep Jr.'s range, it affects your third and second baseman.
Yes.
I personally love Tep Jr. at third base. That's for me personally.
It wouldn't have been fair to put him on the same squad.
Well, I like him at third because I love him, and it's just like theater. I've had both of them where they decided they made adjustments by themselves. You understand what I'm telling you? So, like coaching, sometimes people try to overcoach. When you got guys like that, you do not have to overcoach.
No.
You can undercoach. What I mean by communicate with them. They tell you what they're thinking. They know it. They know. All right. So listen to the guys I mentioned now,
Mm-hmm.
Junior and Watson, right? I got Delroy at second, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna bust your head now, right? Let's say Delroy had to work or something like that. Right? And I got this guy here, I got an asterisk next to his name, Larry. Larry. Little Larry. Little Larry was the catalyst for Showtime.
Yeah,
Hmm.
man. Larry used to be a shortstop, and he didn't want to play it anymore.
Canada, he ain't got no position. Wherever you put me trying to win. I
Period.
love like that. If
I-
you put him on first base, if you put Al Watson or Tep on first base, they know how to do things that a first baseman need to do to help the team win.
yes, indeed.
You can't. How you gonna teach that? So little Larry is one of the great players to me because he's a great competitor. You can't put certain shit in certain guys.
Mm-hmm.
That shit he have in him. I was always worried about when we prepared for Showtime was keeping him like I don't like the word under control. Not letting him get off in an emotional way because everybody else picked up on it.
Follows up that man.
That
Coach,
made it. Yeah.
Coach, let me ask T.O. this question because I want to follow up behind that. Was
Hey.
it T.O.? Was
Yeah.
it the same when you played Mo Better? You had to deal with Al Watson emotionally
Man,
because
I
we
think-
all know when you get Al fired, up and going and getting the team rev, it's a totally different ball team as well.
Man,
Was that
I-
something you prepared for?
I was up. I made 10 lineups. You know what I mean? I made 10 freaking lineups, and with it was tough with his penchant to have the pitcher throw the ball inside. You know what I mean? I had a lot of right-handed guys, believe it or not, that didn't go the other way. You know what I mean? Like Dagger and Bones consistently pounded between second and third. You know what I mean? And if you look at Game 6, you know,
Hold on. Again, say that again. Who?
Game 6 again.
No. Where was it pounding?
Yeah, well, he would pound you inside. You know what I mean? And because these guys, again, Dagger, he pitched him inside and Dagger, and I told him, I said, y'all fuck right field. If you can get a hit, you know what I mean, the other way, take it. And those two guys did it more effective than most. But when Dagger went on the ground, I counted those 2 runs, man. We were going to be up 1. I'm sorry. I still see it. I put my head down and dotted in the 2 lines. Then somebody in the crowd said, oh, I looked up and the ball is going across the fucking diamond, beat Dagger by half a step. You know, I could not believe the range from where Al was because the ball was past the third baseman. You know, Speedy was the biggest issue. Speedy would put these dudes in his back pocket sometime. You know what I'm saying? And Al was the second brick you had to get past on, on defense. It was a motherfucker to prepare for. But like he said, having Larry Edwards was also, it's like having another manager on the field. You know how many trips to the mound I could have in the game? You know what I mean? Send Larry out. You send Larry out. Trying to outflank this man. You know what I mean? I think he walked Creek one time with nobody on. Am I correct? I think he walked him one time. Nobody on.
It's called the Derek Oliver treatment.
Yeah. Nobody on. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then you know what I mean? We talked and he's like, look, why energize the room?
Let me say this here, this coaching corner now. The reason I did that because I wanted him to be hungrier later. So I know he might. He's a dead low ball guy. I want to get into it, but Jake and we used to have conversation. If he's 3-2, In a lot of spots, he wouldn't take the walk.
Yeah.
So the walk psychologically made him. It was in his head. We thought I was hoping to get in his head where he would. We want to keep the ball up. Ain't not much you could do with a guy like that when he make contact anyway.
No.
But that's another. That's just the game within the game type of stuff. Let me get to just another guy.
Yeah, let's go.
Infield, right? So you see what I'm thinking: Tep, Allen, Delroy, Benjamin, up the middle, Speedy, no doubt, because Speedy, he may have been the greatest player to ever play for Mo Better.
Mm.
It just production and power and all that. And then he perfected the knuckleball really good. What's underrated about Jerome is Jerome's a competitive SOB who on the bases really, and he played up the middle well.
Best ever.
Yeah, it's not, it's like things that people don't talk about because we used to play the defense. That lane, if we was playing the 5-hole slough to the 5. We thought his bare hand, he knew he had to be real good to bare hand because we had the second baseman shaded middle. Like, that's what I laugh, all this analytic nonsense you see it in these white boy league playing the major league. We was doing that stuff before it was popular. Okay, y'all know that. Well, think about it. We had 3 infields a long time ago, pitching and whatever it was. But Jerome, then the outfield is Larry 72 is just so talented. Speed, power. He's a rich man, Derek Manamoto. Derek Manamoto is one of my favorite players because he was a butcher. He's a workman. Look at the guys we had. He's a workman. I mean, you mentioned Gordon, as with Shaq would say, was the other, but he did his job. He knew what his job was. It was his job wouldn't go 3 for 4. His job was to make sure the ball got off that fence, and we sloughed out. Al knows this. We played the right field and the right center gap. We gave up the right field line, but he played it like great. But you talking about starting 3 guys? I got Oliver, 72, Motor. Like those kind of guys. I go, those are the kind. And the guys on this line, when he came here, we knew what kind of speed he had. It affected how we played defense because we knew he had the speed. And what this guy did was on the line. Allen, he adjusted. He understood we had a scheme on defense. So we ain't, we trying to take certain things away. But those guys I just mentioned are, and Lefty I mentioned, I got him in for Brooklyn.
I forgot about there were a couple of guys I just didn't have the case.
Those guys were just talent. We started putting the third baseman on the foul line to defend Junior. We had him right out. He was grabbing infield line just so he could see he couldn't cut it. That don't mean he ain't take the hits inside the third base, but we gave him that.
Right.
And then he can run. He can get a ball through the ground, through the infield. He can get a double out of that. So we ain't playing too deep, stuff like that. But I like this stuff because it makes me think about what was we really thinking with, like the thinking of what happened out there. I always thought the Showtime players who were great law players and played in big fields, when they got to Kingston Park, the dimension, they almost played it like they was in a big park. If you look at their alignment, it was deep and spread. So at Mo Better, we always said if we can get the ball through the infield, you got to turn and get 5 for 2. That's a hard play for them. So it's little things. Like Mark was a great outfielder.
Another key center fielder. Another one.
Yeah, great outfielder. He could come in and he read the ball real good.
I never saw him make an error.
Yeah, but he's smart. Look at the guys. Milk was a great outfielder.
Look, man, one of the best defensive outfielders out there.
Good. But, if you have one game to play, you only can put one player at a time on the field. I don't get with this stuff sentiment for a lot of guys. You really can't. I just look at if I had to win a game,
Mhm.
Mm.
On the field at that time, out of the people that we are talking about here. There's no way in the world I want to go to a war without Al watching a guy like Tep,
Mhm.
John Blackman, a guy like Jake, who I have obviously a personal relationship with, but he understands how I think in terms of certain hitters and the stuff we was trying to do. Derek Oliver always stands out to me. Derek Matamoda, I love.
Mhm.
I know that because he just play hard. I
Yeah.
like to play like him. I mentioned Larry, and Russell. Russell. I love Russell because Russell has a nice flavor to him, and he understands. I'm gonna say this in closing on my personal stuff. What I learned is there's a lot of great players, but then there's great competitors. Al Watson, I gotta mention it because people always talk about his temperament and all. It's just his competitive nature.
Mhm.
Did it go high sometimes? Yes, his temperature went high sometimes. I'd rather him a little higher than low.
That's right.
Well, he is, but he's about winning. He understood it. We have Frankie Rodriguez. We have Frankie Rodriguez.
I know. That's another one. If that's enough. That's one. I don't even think I put on the team, but I had him.
He wasn't a Kingston.
He's a shortstop though, right?
He ain't no Kingston guy. I'm just talking about.
Shortstop,
Yeah,
third, second.
Allen would move. Allen would move. Allen would play third. If Tap was there, say outfield, he'd be like, fine. That's those kind of Dougie. You saw my versatility.
The
You know,
numero.
but he's a thinking man's player. Who wouldn't want that if you're playing a big money game? Who wouldn't want a guy like that? I do. I
Mhm.
do. But Dougie, get the ball to the right side. All right. The other thing that we used to teach, I see this when you got runners on second and third and first, we always tell the guys that the ball is up, just hit it to the right, high and hard you can to the right side.
Mhm.
I used to get pissed off when guys used to hit pitchers that are down where they hit hard shots low. I want you to get the ball airbound. It's just little
Mhm.
things in winning that you got to do. And I see it all the time. I watch these guys on TV. They don't even think, what the hell I care about velo if you can't execute.
Mhm.
If you can't, you get an outside pitch, you let it go by. You got to hit that shit to the right side. That's enough for me. Alan, go ahead. I got
T.O., we
Yeah.
talked about that first team, right? And I
Mhm.
think you guys brought up great points on who and where to put certain people and who was forgotten. And wow, like you didn't think about it, but all the people you mentioned, you can go to war, and a lot of those guys you mentioned also won a lot wherever they was at. They won, so they knew how to win. Um, Tio, let's talk about that second team, Team Kingston, and
Team
let's break
Kingston.
down that team from 1 to 10, and even down to the manager. Let's talk about that.
Team Herkimer. Now we have Team Kingston. All right. Now, wow. You know, originally I told you there are a couple of guys on this team that were on. I originally had on Chris's team. I had Tep leading off. Now I figure I kept the best. I kept. Hey! I kept the best defensive unit I thought together, and I thought the best offensive unit up the middle was Tep leading off, Delroy batting second. You know what I mean? Or you can even flip that if you wanted it to be 2-0. You get Delroy on in front of Tep 2-0. I had Junior in the 3-hole, Tony Cherry in the 4-hole, Derek Oliver in the 5-hole. I had your boy Moose, Derek Matamora. I had Heavy, Reggie Manning, and here's where I put Lenny. And with Bruce, wait a minute, I believe, Bruce was behind the plate here. Utilizing the DH. I had Tony Cherry as the DH and Moose was the EH. Originally, I had Tony Cherry over here on your squad, and I had Lenny Benjamin over there in Delroy. You know what I mean? Originally. But then when I thought of player groupings. I know that Tep. I consider Tep Mo Better, Black Sox, then another level. You know what I'm saying? In that order. But you already got Al at short. You know what I'm saying? And you can't. I didn't think it was right to have either one of the three on the same squad. So I separated them. With and again, originally I'm going to bug you out, Coach. When I first wrote it out, I had Junior in right. Okay, but I know that the best right fielder I've seen play that corner was Gordon Barbie. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Defensively, I didn't think there was one better. You had other guys I thought that were great, great over there. Chuck could play that shit. You know what I mean? Junior could play it. But I really thought, and especially the way you deployed him. Here's a guy that went out and played stellar every week and never grabbed a bat. I mean, that type of sacrifice, for team success, spoke volumes to me, But, I felt that the second team, especially since, you got, Tony, Dio, Heavy, Reggie, they went away and played together a lot, in tournaments, so I kind of, felt, and I put Hot Rod, as a matter of fact, I got Matt as the hybrid for this team. Hot Rod is the corner infielder. I put Dagger and Tep Sr. over here. And I had Fatty as the manager. I said it before. Only a player with his credentials could probably walk on over there, and emotionally manage this team effectively. You know what I'm saying? It had to be somebody like that. I had May Lynn. I'm sorry, I see May Lynn as the Black Sox. You know what I mean? May Lynn with the Black Sox.
What?
And,
May Lynn's a Mo Better, but go on.
I mean, look, I couldn't put her and Sharon on the same thing. I couldn't put her and Sharon on the same thing.
You had to split. You had to split them up. You had to split
I
them
had to split them up, son. I had to do it.
How you to do that, but go ahead.
Those are sisters right there.
I know, man. I tell you, this wasn't easy. This wasn't easy, but I don't know of two.
Do the hard thing. Don't worry about easy. Do the hard thing.
But I mean, they were out there every single week. You know what I mean? And I really I wanted to give, each team, one. And the third base coach. For third base coach, I chose another guy that was virtually in the mix, and that was Dav. You know what I mean? I could have went different here. You know what I mean? But every time I see Dav, it's with a Black Sox uniform. You know what I'm saying?
Coach, the Black Sox, right, are a subsidiary of Mo Better.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can speak in a historical sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do something to help us kind of speed this up. I just set up a team and a lineup.
Blow it up.
Let you beat it. What I mean by beat it, just match it. Ready? Okay. I got number 39 pitching, right? Got number 20. You got Al Watson at short, Delroy at second, Lenny Benjamin at first.
Mm-hmm.
Third baseman, I could go with Rodney. I love Rodney. I'm gonna go with Rodney. 72's in left field. Motors in center field. Oliver's in right. The offensive player is Tony Cherry. Go ahead.
That is, and
who's behind the plate? Who's behind the plate?
Jake. Lob ball MVP at St. Whatever he did at St. John's. He did a lot with Tony Cherry with the arc ball. He destroyed it. And I was looking at this team, and I'm gonna put some shit in the game, right? If you want to change the pitch, we can change it too.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna put some speed on it, or are you talking about?
You can go up high with the arc if you want. I
Okay.
wouldn't be afraid to play with them guys. I might make one or two adjustments,
Mhm.
but I'm looking at this team I just put on the field. I might make one or two. I can play an arc ball game also.
I got no
Okay, so-
arguments with none of that.
So you got
I got no arguments with
hold
none
on,
of that.
hold on. Yeah, wait. He said he can play either way. So you got 72, Derek Oliver, and D-Mac in the outfield.
Right.
And
Now, if I play the arc ball game, it's kind of obvious the change I probably would make in the outfield.
okay, D-Mac definitely got to come out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
But you out there. If I had-
right.
Hey, I got no arguments with none of that. None of that. None of that at all. None. I got no arguments with
If
none
you
of that.
look at the other side of that order, pitching wise, it's so like he got Speedy. I will have to go with that. Like you said, you can go with 2 and 2. Go Lenny Benjamin.
Well, that's why Lenny was ridiculous. You know what I mean? Lenny was crazy out there on the mound, dude. Again, if I had to pick the top 4, it would have been him, Speedy, Checo. I mean, come on, man. You can't, and besides, but I knew that's who he wanted, though. I know that's what he wanted.
Coach, look at the piece. There's a piece on the side. I said my offensive player is who?
Oh, I see
Tony
TC.
Cherry, man.
I saw that.
Tony Cherry. I mean, look,
That's
I had
the
him in
general.
third. I had him in third. I had Tony in third. I had
Right.
Tony in third and Lenny at first. You know what I'm saying? And I almost gave you Derek Oliver so he couldn't be walked. You know what I mean? I was bugging me out about the story. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
telling you, Chris used to say that all the time. Dio, just put your bat in your bag.
Put the bat down and walk, son.
You're not swinging today. He used to do that to Jamal too.
Yeah.
He did that to Jamal.
He had one season. He was on a tear.
Yeah.
He was on a tear.
Slow the youngin' down.
He used to do that to Jamal. He said, "Yo, put your bat in your bag. You will not swing today."
Guys like that, doing that, it's how it affects the others. I used to always say, when a guy going like that, right, the guy behind him better be great that day.
He better
Great.
be.
I know about the guy I don't want to contend with.
Right.
You can't control it all, but it's percentages. What else is it? That's like, what are you going to do? Guy like Junior, guy like Junior, he going to put the ball in play. And Junior is a great athlete, was a great, and can run.
Yeah. Free.
Look at the guys we talking about here who could run. The guy on this call here, number 7, Motor. You talking about guys who can go first to home, first to third. That has a big bearing on the game, man. On the secondary play against Showtime, getting back to your game.
God.
Every Wednesday.
Hey, go, Tio. This is it right here, baby.
Yeah, man.
But he knows this. Me and him had this discussion.
Mm-hmm.
The Outlaws, we knew you had high caliber players, but we always wanted to force them into making a secondary play.
Mm-hmm.
The secondary play, the ball off the fence, it has to come back in, it has to go somewhere. We thought that we could force errors, throwing or whatever it was, or throwing behind the runner where we kept guys going, little shit like that. I mean, it's just little things like that. We thought that could be the difference, and it was a lot of times. So,
and talk about it. Talk about little things. We lost. Creek never hit the cutoff man. Never.
I know.
Never.
And
I,
that's deep.
We even in that game 6, you know what I'm saying? He refused to hit the cutoff man twice, and both of those runs scored.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the only 2 or 3 times that the ball went the fuck over there in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
You know how many guys in that park threw the ball and it sailed and went into the dugout on the third base side? Right?
I get it. I know it's me.
It wasn't because they had bad intention. It's just the angles and the depth of the out. It's I'm telling you, it's you know, it's a guy I didn't mention. I got to throw in. It's good conversation. Randy.
Mm.
The shortstop?
No, he's talking about the knuckleballer,
The knuckle.
Mr. Knuckleballer himself.
Yo,
With
that's
the brothers
fifth fielder. Yo, that's a real fifth. And Speedy learned the knuckleball really.
from him. Yeah, the
And,
Impalas.
yep.
Oh,
The
And
Impalas.
he's a winner, coach.
Yeah. Shout out to my Impalas brother. I created the shirt last year, and your names was not on there, but it will be on there this year. My fault. My apologies. I will make sure it be on there. I don't know how did I forget the 10-time champions on that shirt when you create something with history.
And they may have had the greatest center fielder. We don't know. It's debatable. Bingo.
Bingo. Yes.
bingo.
Yeah.
I know.
Yes.
Bingo was dope.
And again,
Bingo was dope.
Chris, you think about it. All these center fielders, right?
Yeah.
You can tell me athletes. Bingo
Yes.
was a basketball player as well.
Yeah.
D-Mac, basketball player as well. I played basketball well. We all played center field. Mark, those guys, we were all athletes in the outfield.
That's a good point.
Dwight, like all athletes that played in center field. And I just thought about it when you just said something about that.
Let me ask both of y'all a question. Outfielders.
Mm.
Name me 2 guys who you think was the best guys at attacking the ball downhill. If the ball's hit through, but they got to come and charge it and come up throwing. Because 1 or 2 guys come to my mind all the time.
The first one that comes to my mind is Miz. I mean,
Who's good at that?
first off, he got even better at that after he hurt his arm, after he hurt his throwing arm.
I remember when he hurt his shoulder. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He had more assists even after that because they kept trying him. They knew his arm was fucked up.
Seven, I was just about to say that, Seven. I was just about to say it.
They tried him. You know what I mean? And again, cerebral. You know what I mean? Could make the one bounce throw to the fucking bag damn near better than anybody I've in almost 20 years. I have never, ever seen a ball hit his glove and it not stick. You know what I'm saying? I can't recall him not charging the ball, picking it, and not hitting the cutoff man or throwing to the wrong, to the wrong base.
My 2 guys is going to be my 2 favorites, next to my idol, who I didn't get a chance to see him play until later on, which is which is Dwight Madison. That's my idol. But D-Mac and Milt was the only 2 I see can run a ball in.
There was another one.
And when they came in, you couldn't get a good jump on them. I waited on the ball. That was my problem. And Crom always tell me that. I waited on the ball because I used more arm than anything. But D-Mac and Milt, they ran in on that thing and they would cut it off like a mother, man. Those are my 2 guys right there.
Milt, it's crazy. Milt, I saw Milt come in full tilt, scoop it, and it was almost like the glove and the arm were the same thing. It looked like as soon as the ball hit his glove, his arm was up with it and it was out on the dead run. And Matamora was another one. I mean, when he came in, look, he was just pretty to watch anyway. You know what I'm saying? But
yes.
Those 3, when it came to attacking, a ball hit up the middle, those 3 for me.
Yeah, I mean, just watching the way, remember, I was playing with the legends coming in.
Yep.
With Fatty, Derek Oliver's a Big D. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching these guys, but I took a liking to D-Mac automatically. Just to, like you said, that dude climbed that fence like Spider-Man.
Crazy.
You know, then you had Milt when you were Brooklyn, cannon of an arm.
Could cover left center to right center.
Man, it was just amazing. Just like those two dudes, period, in Kingston. Now, when you turn around and you flip it, and we go to St. John's, by the time I got there, remember, only center fielder I seen out there, I saw Dav out there, I saw Carlton out there.
Carlton,
Milt was with Tribe. These are guys that I seen out there on those teams. You dig what I'm saying? So,
name in there, King St. John's.
Carlton. Remember Carlton played center field?
Ali.
Ali was, but I didn't. By the time I got there, Ali was playing left.
Listen, I'm talking about when Derek Oliver was a boy wonder with Regina's, with Dennis, his brothers and them.
Mm-hmm.
Ali had legs like pistons.
What?
Listen to me. You ask anybody, I don't know who's on this call, but
Rich Murray, Reg is in here. The family's in here.
Well, they asked them. They know.
Reg said Rich Murray. Richie
Murray's on this call?
No, but Reg is on here, but he's talking about Rich Murray. He just brought up Rich Murray when he came. Yeah, had cannons. Yeah.
Give him an assessment on Ali. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That guy, he's worth the ticket of admission. He was something to watch.
Ali was dope. They had he played with the Outlaws. They had him, Black, Creek Jr.
Creek, yeah.
You know Larry. What I mean? They had the Outlaws had a crew over there.
USA had Kelly Utley, for example. That's another name.
Ali could get it. Red said Ali could get it.
Yeah, Kelly Utley was a pro. It's like watching a pro. Left Queen and it looked easy.
Yo, my man left. I don't know if cats remember Michael Young. You know what I mean? But he used to play center for the Outlaws.
Too, Al. You're right. Carlton.
Yeah.
Carlton was dope.
He played like outfielders who could play shadow and go back. Because that was my next question. Who's the best going back?
Shit.
Reggie, ask Reggie right now name two guys who he said was as good as any going back.
Reg, who you heard that, Reg? Who was good at going back on the ball?
Who
you got, Tio?
I'm sorry, I seen Miz. As a matter of fact,
he said left. Is that the guy you talking about?
Michael Young.
Yeah.
Michael Young.
He said Lep was the best he's seen in St. John's center field. Yep.
Lep was a freak. And if I had to play one game for money, if I'm playing one game for money, he's my center fielder.
Wow.
He's my
St. John's Kingston?
One game for money, he's my center fielder.
Ooh.
That's my center fielder. One of the best money play. If you're playing for money, he's one of the best I've ever seen, ever. I've been out here 40 years, and he's one of the best. I would put him in center field for that money.
Wow.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. He didn't play, it was wild. Larry brought him down. Did this, Larry, a straight killer. You know what I mean? A straight killer. But I got an outfield now of Miz Creek Jr., and he strolls in the park with Lep. You know what I mean? I did what I had to do. I mean, I put left center, Miz and left, and Creek hit. But then, Creek didn't like that shit. He didn't like to come up to the park and just hit. You know what I mean? Just like Speedy didn't like, you wouldn't get away with Speedy in the 8-hole. Believe me, you know what I mean? The motherfucker coming all the way from Connecticut.
Ain't no way you get
it. Keep it real.
Yeah. Red said he played the shallowest center field in St. John's Park.
Al, I'm listening to you. Just a great discussion. All the skills you said, everything you just mentioned, I would take number 72 and play him against anybody.
Anywhere.
Every skill set we just mentioned, he do it and make it look easy. His speed, his arm wasn't like written about or talked about, but he got every play. He makes every play. He made every play. He's really good.
Yeah.
Want to shift it down to shortstop, right? You got one game to play. Reggie, who's your shortstop? Kingston, St. John, Ever. You can do it either way because some of these guys are both.
And while we on that, and while Reg is doing that, Theo, what
Yeah.
about that third team, St.
Oh
Andrew?
yeah. Did we get this is the fastest
Yeah.
now this is the fastest team in the league. And I kind of again, the groupings, you know what I mean? I got Al leading off with E batting second. Chuck batting third. Now I might have reached here. Hey, I might have reached here, but I put Reese at first base. I got Nesto, and I went with Eric Carrington in left. You know what I mean? I put Joey behind him. I Monster at third, and I got Dave Pizarro at short, and Desmo behind the plate. Now, with more, I kept Vito, Jacob, Howard, and Jamal and Kibo. I mean, the temperament of these players just seemed to fit. And if you were going to add some more to this mix, Miz just seems to fit. I mean, he's going to run. I mean, almost every last single dude on here, speed guys, you know what I mean, to their relative position. Maybe it's that Monster, at third. You could even put Jamal at third. You know what I mean, which is I had
Howard.
originally, you know what I mean, but someone told me he was an outfielder. I tried to stay more true, you know what I mean, to the position. I didn't want to, because you could have easily put Butch, Tep, and Al in the same fucking infield. You know what I mean? Call it a day. But I didn't want to do that. But this is clearly the fastest team in this tournament. And Didi, again, Didi was out there with us every week.
Betting that bread.
You know what I mean? Betting that cheese. You know what I mean? And she fits. She fits with this crew. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? But that's the fastest team. That's the fastest team in the league. And Eric was a straight beast.
Hands down.
A straight beast, man. He was solid defensively.
All around, T.O. Put him anywhere. Up the middle, second, short, third, left, right, center.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm talking about Eric Carrington, but look, man.
Oh.
I wish I'd have put E at short, and I think I would have had a great run at a couple of titles. You know what I mean? Eric, I can't speak enough about, damn.
Yes.
Skilled individual. Just a skilled individual can turn the double from both sides of the bag like he was born to do it. I mean, just great.
I think what amazed me with the two-way players, like you said, a Matt, a Dougie, a E, a Vinny, how they can convert from the outfield to the infield and still make that transition like if they've been playing it the whole year.
All they freaking life. Dougie,
that in itself was crazy. To see him go climb a fence one game and then turn the double play like I've been playing it the whole entire game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
To me, that's amazing.
I think when Dougie, one of his unwritten, talked about qualities is his throwing accuracy. Wherever he was, if you see him go back on the ball, he always hit the cutoff guy almost perfectly. You very rarely see him throw looping throws. Think about it. You always see him throw balls that are catchable to the infielder and they can make the next secondary play. So he's fundamentally sound. He's fundamentally sound. I like fundamentally sound guys. For me, that's just.
Cuzzo, you right. We're gonna win that. We're gonna win that, Cuzzo. We're gonna win it. We're going first to third, baby. We winning it. Me and E going first to third easy. That's 2-zip right there.
So you gotta.
That's
That,
too good. But you know what?
Yeah, but you can
It
take
depends who we play in the first game too.
yeah, but you can take. I got Dave Pizarro and Desmo.
Oh God.
You know what I mean? Flip it upside down. Flip it upside down. You're gonna have Desmo in front of Dave. It's 1-0. One. I mean, met Desmo. I'm. I'm. I look, man. If one of the most professional things I have ever seen was when the first time we got to work together was out in Far Rockaway with Team Mac. Desmo started off slow. I mean, Desmo started off for the first couple of weeks. You know what I mean? But he wasn't loud. Was quiet. Did everything else correct. And been about his business. And then all of a sudden, man, this fucking dude start climbing up the fucking lineup. I mean, I always thought he was like a top of the line, a top of the lineup type dude. If he hits it on the ground, you even look at it wrong, he's gonna beat it out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and Dave, he could go the other way on you with a ball that's sliced. You know what I mean? Or he can go up out of there. He can pull the ball when he wanted to also.
We're drinking a bottle of rum.
But this is the craziest team in the tournament, though. I'm sorry. This is
No,
the most volatile. This is the most volatile mix. You know what I mean in the tournament, and you know,
Hello. Like right now, it's good.
and for the what do you call it?
I would say I'll probably do
Tuesday.
a Tuesday.
Oh.
If I do a Tuesday, yeah, Tuesday.
Go, y'all keep talking. I was.
Oh.
no.
But
Yeah,
I
and
I,
I remember Mo when I first got out there, he was with Tribe, and I would see Mo hit it on the ground and just beat it out like easy. And then Mo would be so fast around the bases, he would miss first base. He'll miss second. You know what I'm saying? But like the speed was crazy, and I think when we talk like Chris said and like you said, what we remember more than anything, it was a fast game.
I
It
just.
wasn't a slow game. Base hit would turn into a double, triple, depending on who it is. You
Really?
up 1-0 real quick, or you up 4-0, depending on how the lineup's going.
All right, I will. Let me finish this.
Nestos, what up, Nesto? And
my
like I
dude.
said, and then it depends who's pitching. Tio, if we pitching against somebody, you can't give that fast lineup the wrong pitcher. You better throw somebody at us who know how to control that ball.
Nesto fits.
Yeah.
Nesto fits here.
Mm-hmm.
He also, I thought he profiled very well with, again with Tony Cherry's team as well. I started to, again, Speedy and Lenny. You know what I mean? Maybe I would have done the Nesto and the Ricardo. You know what I mean for Team Kingston, something like that. I mean, yeah, believe me, I had to. I was starting to move players around and scratching names out, moving them around. But Nesto fits in. So does Howard.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know what I'm
definitely.
saying? You know what I mean? So does Howard.
Definitely.
And no matter what, I always felt I was in every fight because of Chepo and Willie. You know what I mean?
About Willie. Willie's still out there doing his thing. I saw him on camera.
Willie had the most difficult job of the two.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one that had to win the second game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the toughest one to win.
But Willie could adapt because he can do fast and slow, in my opinion. And he's lefty. It's coming at a different angle.
I thought Larry almost killed him. Larry 62 almost killed him, man. Scared the shit out of me. I don't know. I don't know how well he caught that thing.
That's interesting. You mentioned Willie and Nesto because they had a lot of similarities.
Mhm.
Nesto was tough.
Look, man,
Mm.
he scored
Nesto,
60 runs against Brooklyn, coach. I
Yeah.
come back the next fucking week. We scored 15 runs in like 3 games against this dude. Sick. I mean, bananas. Nesto is a machine. That's what Speedy called him.
he had the right speed. He had a little cut.
Yeah. Yep.
No,
That little cut that'll make you foul tip that thing one time.
You only got 2.
and he had a good glove up the middle.
Yes,
Yes,
that
Yeah,
big glove he had. Yes.
he,
his ass off too.
yeah, he's tough. He's good. He's good.
All around. You know, and there's defense all over the place on this St. Andrews team. There's defense all over the place. Speed against power. I always love that dynamic going against each other, Always did like that. And for Team Atlantic, I had Larry leading off. Larry was my tip of my knife. Butch batting second. Now I had Creek, and I followed him up with Gary Wu and another dude. You know what I mean? That I clearly don't understand why niggas don't. His name doesn't roll off too many lips, and that was Black. But Black did it from both sides of the plate, and the crazy thing is I've seen him do it in all 3. I've seen him do it in modified, lob, and arc. I had followed him up with Magic, Crime, Rich Murray, and I had Dougie in the 10 hole, and Chepo and Willie, manning the mound for this team. Now normally, like with Team St. Andrews, Eric, Joey, and Al came they came over as a group. I mean, normally I wouldn't put Larry, on the same team without Junior. It just doesn't. It doesn't seem right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's, but again, I wanted to keep it interesting. You know what I'm saying? Keeping in mind, also, the types of personalities might squeeze and fit together. You know what I'm saying? The first 2 guys on Team Atlantic, Butch and Larry, were just unflappable. Unfucking flappable. I mean, you more often than not, you're gonna have Creek up in the first inning with 2 guys on. What are you gonna do with him? You know what I'm saying? And I put a guy. I thought about putting Wu in the 5 hole, but I went with another dude, man. That was, I'm sorry, man. When Gary got on the roll, man, it was, you got the bases loaded and Gary up. Take your shot.
Pink Lips was different, man. That brother was different, man. People don't give him his due when he was with all those years with the posse.
Come on, man.
Perfect. He was
Lefty Gary?
Yeah, lefty Gary.
Yep.
Yeah, he's strong.
He hurt, man.
Muscle guy. He'll put that thing out there. He didn't care. You knew he was going up out of there no matter what.
Very strong.
Mm-hmm.
Now I had at the corner infield, I pulled out Larry from the Desperados. It's funny, but every time he stood out. Every time you played those guys, you had to worry about him. I mean, he was the one dude that could crush the ball on that team, and
He was a monster too. He's a big guy, man.
He's a big
Larry
dude.
did the thing.
You know, and I know a lot of guys don't remember Brian Murphy. They don't remember Brian Murphy.
I got him right here in my scouting report, bro. Don't
Yeah.
tell.
My goodness, man.
I know you're talking about.
You know, Brian Murphy was a problem. He was a problem that, you know, a lot of cats forget. I threw a lineup out there that had 8 lefties in it. You know what I mean? Planted right in the middle of that, you know what I mean, was Brian Murphy. You know, and the dude hit about 6 and change in this park, man. You know, I kept numbers. I kept numbers, man. I forgot, you know, Willie Soto was on this team against Brian Murphy, you know, and I got, you know, they just all seem to fit, you know, Rich Murray, Dougie, you know what I mean, Larry, you know what I mean, Creek, they were all on the BQE also. You know what I'm saying? They, you know, this was a team that I thought, you know, they're going to walk in the team, they're going to walk into the park, you know, professional and quiet and beat the shit out of you. Basically. You know what I mean? And just pound you. You know, I tried to you know, again, this was me. I wish I had gotten you know, a little bit more feedback because, you know, y'all already mentioned a couple of guys. Oh shit, you know what I mean?
But you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, you know, I would love to see guys. You know, I want to see cats. You know, on paper, take someone out and put somebody in. You know what I'm saying? I've had those conversations. I've had the conversations that, you know, guys tell me what they would do. Well, now we have a template. You know what I mean? Explain yourself. You want to move a guy, you want to move a guy around, make an argument. You know what I mean? And I love what he did. You know what I mean? He gave, you know, he put his team out there. You know what I mean? And, you know, a very good one. You know what I might add?
I was going to match somebody. I was going to match his team.
Yeah, you know what I mean. That's the, you know, that's another thing we can do too. You know what I mean?
You know, we can all put those combo teams together. You know what I'm saying? And it's good. It's good entertainment, and it's definitely good for traction. But Tio, when you sat down, because I know you have a lot of information in that brain of yours. When you sat down to put this stuff together, you know, what was the overall thought process? Like, why you said, you know what, let me put this out here now?
It's been 4 years.
Yeah.
It's been 4 years since this thing went up. You know, and you know, it's time to put it to bed. The one thing I regret is that this league never had an awards dinner. You know, I thought it was absolutely 100% great, but then I wanted this period to be remembered for me personally. It was one of the best time that period is one of the best times I had in my life, man. I'm telling you, I'll never forget the first time I'm standing there next to Russell. It was Mo Better against the Young Guns. The first time I stepped foot in and saw a game in Kingston Park. And I can still fucking hear it. Mo. I mean, it went up inside me, dude. I'm grabbing fucking Russell. I'm looking across the way here because I was on the first base side. I'm standing there and I'm watching Chris. He's standing there. He's like a rock. And everything else behind him is. And I said to myself, this is it. You know what I mean? This is it. This is where I have to be. You know what I mean? No matter what I do in life, this team has to go down. You know what I'm saying? these guys have got to go. And it was you know, 6 in a row. It's one of the greatest I think street ball feats in light of all the talent and everything that I think is one of the greatest street ball feats of all time. You know, it was no different winning here than Fat Joe winning the shit up at the Rucker. It was no different. You know what I mean? And I have no hate in me whatsoever. There's never been an ounce of hate, but you know, admiration. You know what I'm saying? I got nothing but admiration for what I encountered. Even day one in the meeting, Chris, day one when I'm sitting there in the meeting, the whole conversation was about keeping this man from stealing ball players. How are we going to make the rules different to keep him from snatching their ball players? You know what I mean? And the chatter, chirp. When he walked into the room, it was like E.F. Hutton. When he, you know what I'm saying? Everybody shut the fuck up. You know, when he walked in the room, I said, I'll be damned. You know what I mean? It was just the whole thing, the specter. You know, I saw Reggie in there.
Chris, did you know what type of legacy you was building with Mo Better when you first started with Mo Better? Did you know what you was building, or if there was going to be a run?
I didn't think of it like that. I remember the first championship we won at the Brooklyn series. I thought Brooklyn was the best team that we played against. The white lefty, that was a good team. But I remember it was cool. Around playoff time, it was cool. The wind was blowing in, which I loved. Because I knew we wasn't a big fly team. I wanted to build our team on speed. To answer your question, after we won every game, particularly in the series, I was hell bent on we swept the first one, whatever. I always took the attitude we was down, and I just killed. You know that I killed them. The other thing was the second game. Reggie knows this stuff. The biggest inning in the second game. We always wanted to be the home team in the first game. Get the lead. I have to say I never thought of it like that then. I always looked at the next challenge. You know, I think the other thing that happened, Terry's on the call, you on the call, Reggie on. I sat in the park from 8:30 in the morning to 8:30 at night. What I mean by that, I saw every player that Terry added. I saw every player that the Bucks added or whoever they were. I looked at every umpire, what he's calling. You know, that was our main. So it's just, no, I didn't look at it like that. You said something earlier that I think the key was the emotion of the league. The emotions was serious.
It was high.
It was serious.
Competitive times, man. I mean, everybody wanted to win, like you said. It was competitive, and you built teams. Let's look at it like this, guys. You guys have been in it longer than me. Look at the teams that was really competitive consistently every year. Brooklyn, Posse, Mo Better, Another Level. You know, Showtime. You know, TNF. Even the Twins, if people want to keep them out of there. Playboys that snuck in there every once in a while.
Are you kidding? Sleep on them if you want to.
You didn't know what you was dealing with on a week-to-week basis, but you knew what you had on your team. And it was really, because think about it like this. You knew if you lost that season, the next day you was recruiting for the next season.
And yeah, you know, it wasn't and I made reference. I had I even thought about a movie, Chris. You know what I mean? I thought about a movie, and in the movie, you know, you and the you were getting ready to take the Mo Better franchise public. You know what I mean? Mo Better had gotten laws. The word got out. Corporate America was coming to the park. You know what I mean? And when corporate America and the cameras come out, cleaned up the park, it didn't feel the same. You know what I mean? You were kind of going corporate. You know, I made reference to the Bible. I said they had God at the helm, Jesus is short, and Moses on the mound. That's our household name. Your household names. And you know, the streets didn't like it. You know what I mean? You know, they were saying, man, look, man, Mo Better losing the street cred. They going corporate. So my man Jacob, you know what I mean, just came fresh off his record deal. You know what I'm saying? Jacob goes and he blows up, you know what I mean, the fight song against Mo Better. And he says another level, you know what I mean, is the team of the streets. You know what I mean? We going to take it, you know what I mean? We going to either lose, we going to win the fight if we lose the game, all that. You know how they get down. You know what I mean?
If you look at the era of the league, right?
That's exactly what I'm looking at.
Start when Powers were the Kings. We moved to Kingston Park.
Yeah.
We beat World Famous beat the Impalas.
Mm-hmm.
We won. The Wild Bunch was in. We ain't mentioned them. They was in.
Yeah, Wild Bunch. Yep, another good team. Yep.
One had the most talent.
Young Guns. I'm sorry we didn't mention them. I mean, we did, but that was another competitive team.
Everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I think here's the key points. I thought when the Mo Better split happened, the Black Sox happened.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that was a pivotal. Just looking at the history, that was pivotal, right? The Black Sox was on the verge of winning. It broke down. They didn't win, right? Then you look at the
No, nobody won. Nobody won.
yeah, when another level was born. What they did, and I say this publicly, and I don't say it. I don't. My opinion's mine. What they did was most. They went over the top with the emotion and the intensity and all the stuff. I thought it was a disruption of the league itself, but they did what they thought they had to do to get where they had to go. Okay,
Yeah.
they had good players. They had players who played in the league. They had some good players, obviously, but the emotion. Again, I keep using that word. The emotion that they brought. It was rude. It wasn't pleasant at times. But that's the course they took. That's what they thought they had to do. The Outlaws was the king. Don't forget, the Outlaws was the kings of St. John's at that time. They run in St. John's, and this leads me to this. What I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all the players that we mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
We got to start breaking down the guys that was really good at St. John's, and then they're really good in Kingston too. That wasn't everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
That
I agree.
you you almost got to make a distinction. Even a guy like Tony Cherry, he's a professional arc ball hitter, still is,
Mm-hmm.
right? But he's a competitive IQ guy who understood how to take a walk. He understood when he got a pitch, he get over that little porch, he hit it there. How many outs you seen Tony Cherry make to left field?
Very well.
But I'm just trying to say that everybody don't have that kind of discipline and stuff to do that, right? Derek Oliver, his hands are so fast.
Mm-hmm.
I know when we had him on Wednesday night, all we kept saying, drag your hands. Drag your hands. Get off the plate. Drag your hand. What I mean by drag it? Tap. Whose hands are faster than his? but I seen him hit balls when he dragged. When I say drag your head, when he slowed his timing mechanism down a little, he hit balls over the center field fence with home runs that were bombs. When Creek hit a home run, the center, it was a bomb, right? It's funny when you look at some of these guys. It's little things. Those adjustments, it made a big difference with a lot of. I mean, look at Al. The guy on this, you was a dead low ball guy.
Mhm.
You mentioned Black, dead low ball. There's certain guys, a great arc hitter. Where the ball, you never want to put the ball letter high, belt high. You just never wanted to do that. So it was a lot of it was who had the discipline.
Mhm. Mhm.
He must have got a phone call in the middle of this.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go back to what he said about AL and a comment that was made in the chat. Chuck, you hit it right on the head. Detroit of baseball, just like Detroit Pistons of basketball. AL was Detroit. AL was the Detroit of basketball. You know what I'm saying? We did the same thing.
Yeah, if you want
Same
to,
thing. Came in with your own mentality, and it was almost like not passing of the torch, but almost taking the torch. You know what I'm saying? Like we coming in with the big head and saying, you know what, we got to beat them, and we got to beat them at our game. We can't beat them at their game because you're not going to win that way. You got to beat them at your game, and sometimes that takes precedent, and that's what it was when we played over there and we won that championship against. We couldn't beat Mo Better at their game. It's just we couldn't do it. We just wasn't going to do it. That we had to do it our way. We had to do it with speed. We had to do it with arms. You had to
We,
hit the ball sometimes.
we played the biggest game ever played out there against the Young Guns. I said this to you this morning, Al.
Yeah,
People forget they were winning in the game 9-3.
oh please, man.
I still can't believe that.
It was glorious. It was glorious.
I still can't believe that, Chris.
I walked into the park. I'm walking into the park. Tep hit a big hit up the middle. And at the end of it, when they won it, Chris, I mean, it was the spectacle. Chris was like, man, we got hard. I mean, I said, these guys are extra. I went back to Queens gushing. I'm like, fuck, y'all got to see this shit that I just saw out here. You know what I mean? That series set it off for me. That spectacle set it off for me.
Let me before we go in it, let me clarify. 7. This is what I'm talking about. Nobody's discrediting that we was not good.
Are you kidding?
Nobody discredits when AL was great. Nobody's discrediting that. What I'm saying is that we had a game plan. They had a game plan. Our game was to play our game our way without no changes. No, we did it our way. We didn't do it the way somebody else did it. That's what I mean. It's not taken away from how good we was, because that never was any of the case on any of the AL teams. You know what I'm saying? That's just that we did it our way. That's
Yeah.
all it means. Every team was different. We did it our way. We won our way. We knew we had the talent. That's easy, but we had to win our way.
Yeah.
That's what I mean
I
by-
always said they created that team in the lab. You know what I mean? They went into the fucking lab, you know what I mean, and chemically put together this team, you know what I mean, to kill the virus, I guess. If you know what I mean, if you go in the lab and create something, it's usually to cure something. And Mo Better, you know what I mean, they did what they put together what they had to in order to beat Mo Better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got a question for anybody listening here. This is a question.
Mhm.
That year, the Young Guns had their team, right?
I'm gonna answer that question, 7.
Tell me how many games. 7's on the line.
Yeah, I'm gonna answer his question.
You're gonna know this. You're gonna know the answer to this. How many games the Young Guns played going into the Mo Better game that went more than 5 innings?
I heard they said none of the games went more than 5 innings.
None. None.
Whoa. Get the
Yeah,
fuck out of here.
yeah. None of the games went past the 5th inning. They blew everybody out.
Listen to me. Our big fear going in that game is like playing a fast break team and they can shoot threes. If you couldn't stay in contact with them, mean contact, down 2, down 3, whatever,
Mhm.
it was over. We were down 9-3. It was an error or two they made, obviously. But to our team credit, I think good teams are opportunistic. We took advantage of a couple of breakdowns in defense. But if you look at that game, they had 9. They didn't score for 2 or 3 innings or something like that. That gave us the ability to catch up. If they would have just did what they normally do, we would have never been able to catch up. So that was
Mm.
that game. They was a monster.
Mhm.
I didn't listen. We was just concerned about their offense, man. Their offense was like Tony Cherry's offense was in St. John's. They,
That's Golden.
they could throw 8 runs up in an inning.
Mhm.
That team was the most potent opponent we ever played.
Right.
Get out of here.
The
Yeah.
second game,
Mhm.
people. And here's another thing Speedy don't like. The Speedy didn't play in either game.
Was that the game he threw his shirt? Was that the game he threw his shirt?
Of the first game. Yeah, but the point is, I wasn't thinking I was punishing it. It was so intense there. There was so much money out there.
Mm.
That day, if you remember, that place was packed.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
That
Yes,
place
it was.
was packed. So that's why I always say that's the biggest game ever played out there. I ain't saying the most important, but I'm telling you how potent they were. That was the most potent opponent I've seen in softball. They,
Wow.
they was I watched them every week. So we was fortunate,
Oh,
but
definitely.
that opponent stands out in my head forever. The first game, it stands out, and Delroy won it at the end. He won that game at the end, but that team, and then the second game, they let down. They let down. They was having their way, bro, with that whole league. People on this call know that. So the history of that game stands out.
Mhm.
Last thing, the other game that stand out in my head, we played the Outlaws in the playoff one year. The ball that said fell between Danny and somebody going back for the ball, whatever, the shortstop.
I think I heard who Danny and I forgot who the other dude was, but I know it was Danny.
Another big game.
Mhm.
The Outlaws had us beat, really. They had us beat, but it was a windy day, which I liked. But they had us beat, and it was just one mistake, and we took advantage of it. So it just,
Magic said Boswell. Rest in peace, Boswell.
Boswell. Oh shit, Bos.
but that's
Mhm.
just sports. But listen, guys who played in Kingston Park know when the wind was blowing in from Atlantic to Herkimer, you didn't need to play the left fielder so deep.
Deep, right? That is correct.
It's just little shit like that. But a guy like Tep, for example, he can sprint back on one of those tweeners, like those pops you can go back on. Guy
Mhm.
like that probably makes that play.
Yeah, that was his thing. Like if I knew he was running back, I wouldn't run in.
Yeah, it's little things like that.
Yeah, because I knew if he was going full speed, 9 times out of 10 he was going to get it.
But look at that. Look at the again. This is IQ stuff.
Yeah,
Shortstops that play deep and got speed. You could play the outfield a little deep. It's a lot of little variables involved, man.
yeah. It's plots and twists and everything. And going back to what I said, Seven was we like to hang out. We showed up to games. We played, and when we got to the field, we did our job. Other teams wasn't doing that.
Fastest team.
That's just being real. Like other teams wasn't doing what we was doing on a consistent basis. And when I say, because that was my first year, but just to hanging out and doing everything and then coming to the park and then playing, That was our way of doing it. That take nothing. That we did it out of consistency. So, and
The
then
fastest team ever.
and then you had somebody that held people accountable. Vinny held you accountable. You didn't do your job, you ain't playing. He held you accountable.
Yeah,
That's
and that
just
was,
being
you know,
honest.
Al, you know what was funny? Like I believe I still wasn't too clear on this, on the Black Sox who was manager, was it Dougie and
Reg and Doug.
Reggie, you know what I mean? But if you were playing, you couldn't, you know, I didn't want to put a manager and a player in there. You know what I'm saying? Or like Vito, I knew was very important in the decision making on another level, but he was playing. You know what I mean? Couldn't put him as a manager there. That's why I went with Wayne. You know what I mean? But Vito, look, man, Vito had no problems.
You might be right.
You know, he had no problems telling the, you know, setting things right. I thought he was real. You know, I thought he was.
Benny is a product of Jimmy. People, you know, Vinny played for Chappie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all remember, Chappie was another, you know, team, but Jimmy personality was a dominant personality,
Mm-hmm.
and he, you know, Vinny played under Jimmy. You know, a lot of his characteristics and the way he handled people was a lot like what Jimmy did.
Did
Came from,
Chappie play in Kingston?
I can see that.
huh?
Vito, this
Did
is
Chappie
back when it was
play in Kingston, or was it?
Chappie played in Kingston
Oh, okay.
first year, something like that.
early on, but they was very competitive. They had great athletes. They wasn't like a bulky team. They was fast and they could play. Ray was one of the best outfielders ever played out there. They had Jeff Houston. Uh, he was, you know, they had some good
I heard
athletes.
that name. I heard that name. Jeff Houston and Ray. Yeah.
Oh, they had good, but Jimmy, I'm talking about Jimmy
Okay,
and how
1 to 2 years, Magic. Okay. Thank
Benny
you.
told me that. I mean, listen. We grew up together in Brownsville. I know like the toughness and all that stuff
Mm-hmm.
came from these, you know, people like that. Tep, you talking Tep Jr. before he was in the service. It's the brothers, Nat, you know, like a lot of guys, Dougie's from the brothers. Tep Jr., Tep Sr. played in Brownsville League when it was in Betsier Park.
Mm.
He played with the Spoilers, I think Flugie Spoiler, whatever it was. But you talking about people who've been for it's a lot of history to it. There's a lot.
Yeah.
And that's why I love these
Gershon,
conversations.
Leon, guys like Leon, ask Tep Jr. about Leon.
I heard big names. Shortstop. Yes.
Shortstop.
Leon. Heard
So,
about that. Yes.
so Robbie Randolph was a good player.
Mhm.
It's a lot of great players that played in the league. It's just a difference between having good players and good teams. It's not easy. Is that we used to wait in Brooklyn? They played 6 games before they got to Kingston Park. Wherever they, or
Mm.
we was warming up, waiting and ready. We had a lot of energy.
The 6:30 game was genius.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
advantage.
yeah. Those lights.
It was the place you wanted to be.
Guaranteed.
The 6:30 game is where you wanted to be.
Showcase.
And, nobody played that spot better than Ray. Ray worked the schedule, man, and that 6:30 game. After you done played everywhere else, you done played about 3 doubleheaders every place else. You're gonna come out here. You're gonna pull out the cooler. You're gonna pull out the grill. You know what I mean?
It's party time.
You know, and you're gonna watch a great game. And he worked it. You know, he worked it to perfection.
He knew who to put. He knew who to put at prime time
Mm-hmm.
on the schedule.
It was like Monday Night Football, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Some people didn't go to work though that next day.
Come on, man.
There's a lot of call outs.
Yeah, but you know, it was I honestly I felt I felt this type of this. I felt this once before in the '70s and early '80s. You know, the spectacle. You know, the people, the teams, and I couldn't believe, as I'm going through this, how bad everybody wanted to win this shit. It was a title. If you won no place else and won here, you were legitimized. You know what I'm saying? You were, you know what I mean? You were made, you know what I mean, so to speak. And I don't care what nobody
Agreed,
said.
Reg. Agreed.
I don't care
Reg
what
said that's
nobody
what sick
said.
leave was for. You called out with sick leave when you didn't go to work on Monday. You used your sick leave.
You was fucked up on Monday.
But then you had the 48 over on Monday.
Over at the jump.
But think about Monday. Think about Monday and Tuesday. All the chatter was about what happened Sunday.
Sunday. Mm-hmm.
And then the game, the featured game next Sunday. It was we had NFL. We talk in the NFL. We always talk about the next thing and the next game and all that. That league had that. It was Ray said it was the best community entertainment they had for free, and it's true.
Hell yeah! Oh hell yeah, man!
Well put. Well
you know
put.
what I mean? Fucking A.
Did y'all look at the schedule when y'all went into the coaches meeting and y'all got your schedules? Did y'all already mark out?
Man, my shit was circled before I left the room. It was circled before I left the room.
You know what I always looked at, Al? I looked at the teams who I thought could beat the team I was most concerned about. Like when I looked at the playoffs, I always looked at who could help us beat Godzilla.
Mm.
That's how. And then the other thing was you always wanted to finish first so you can get the 4th seed.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere between 2 and 3, you knew that. If you finish second or third, that's usually a team that can win it all, really.
Yeah.
So I always just said, who is it? If I looked at another level, right? My thing, I kind of knew who they were. I wanted to see, can Showtime really beat them? Like in a series? I'm hoping they can. My ego never let me. If I had a choice, I never would want to play them in the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Why? You want the easiest path, if it's such a thing. So it just look at the series. We had some shit that. Hey, listen, the Black Sox was up 3-1.
Yeah,
there's Reggie will tell you they were up 3-1. They looked like they were.
Buddy. Yeah, buddy.
He was about to walk away with that thing.
They was in good shape, man. They were in great shape that year. The guys on this call know.
Oh yeah.
But you learn from that. You can't. It's that league. You can never take it for granted. Nothing.
Ever.
Nothing.
Ever.
I know, Reg. Trust me, I know, Reg.
My man.
And there was a couple of things that happened in those games. Either somebody walk, guys know what I'm talking about. Sometimes a guy needed to take the walk, he didn't. Little things like that. and it turned. It turned. But I think that means that the league was that good. Think about it. We had a proud history, man.
And I think we should celebrate it as much as we possibly can. And that's why I continue to do these 860 events, because it needs to be recognized that our park was beautiful, man. I don't care what nobody say. I've seen people play in other parks. Yeah, whatever, that was nice. Come to our park and play. I think one day I brought a couple of guys from Texas out last year and I took them to Kingston. And they said, Al, did y'all really play on this? I said, dude, I can show you a couple of spots where I got burns and marks.
Yeah.
I said, this park was packed, man. I said, this is legendary park right here. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And this year, I'm bringing 9 of them. We coming with 9. Because they like the history from what they heard, just what they heard of the park and the guys and the fellowship that was out there and the relationships that we had. But it was just that park was like somebody you said it best, Tio, a long time ago. That park is hollow ground.
Mm-hmm. And it needs the story. The story needs. I swear, man. Uh, there's a legitimate story here. I think it's worthy of being told beyond this audience.
Yes.
The from the history leading up to what I consider one of the best periods I've been through. And again, uh, I touched on this. I saw this, the spectacle of it uh, in the '70s and early '80s, and it was an absolute pleasure to be out there every single fucking week. Going up against guys like Dave Goldstein. Look, man, you know, out of my entire existence out there, uh, there were two teams that beat on me mercilessly uh, and that was the young pros when they first came out, and it was me, Heavy, and Chill Edwards pitched against these guys, and they scored about 30 runs. When Chepo got there, he shut them out. And the other team that beat on me was Brooklyn. Look, man, Brooklyn scored 20 runs a game against Chepo and Javier, and that was never done. In 10 years, and you know what I mean? My pitching has never gotten beat up like that.
Mm.
You could get your ass handed to you on any given Sunday out there. The Desperados beat up on me one game. You know what I mean? Dudes took them, you know what I mean? They just came out and pat, 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 pat. I said, oh shit. And that was game one. They got the shit beat out of them in game two. You know what I'm saying? But you could get beat at any time out there. The story is legitimate amongst street ball annals. I mean, the only one we really got to compare it to is basketball. And when it comes to, you had Soul in the Hole, you had, what goes on up at the Rucker, and then you got what happened here in Kingston Park, Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Jerry Anglero has got some great stories about Lower Manhattan.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? I heard a few of his, and they were magnificent. And even in the movie, I was explaining earlier, I kind of figured a way to bring Jerry Anglero into it. You know what I mean? The greatest, whom I think, and a lot of guys on the street, even to this day, say he's the greatest that ever picked up a ball and threw it. It's it's up in there like this. All of you guys, all of you players, you know what I mean? It just needs to be told, but as far as this portion, who should be, a Hall of Fame or whatever, or, who we thought was this or that, or I think we could put this to bed. You know what I mean? I think this portion, we can debate about it, you know what I mean, till the end of time, but I think it's about time we put it to bed.
Right.
You know what I mean? We've paid homage, you know what I mean? I still, and just on listening to Coach, man, there were a couple of guys he named. I'm like, oh shit, You know what I'm saying? And again, you can go on and make a case for another team or two, that could fit neatly into this tournament. You know what I mean, and do well. But the greatness, was evident here, displayed here. And, I think we should at least, you know, put it to bed and celebrate, what I mean, get together, what I mean, and have fun with it.
Oh, definitely.
I still would like to see guys make adjustments. I know everybody would do everything different, but I love what Coach did. I'm going to put out the rebuttal team. I know what he got. You know what I mean? I'm going to put out the rebuttal.
Yeah, he got it, and that's what I was saying. That rebuttal team, I think I wanted to do that too.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
wanted to attack that team.
But I got no problem. I got no problems at all with that roster.
No,
I mean,
that's a bad. That's tough. And play both sides.
I like
Let me-
it. I
that
like it.
team had 7. Watson, whatever we had, we was playing the Sunday mornings out there at Forest Park, whatever.
hmm
And that was nasty out there with them white boys. But Allen and 7, they started going 5 infielders, 4 outfielders. I mean, it was that was a trip. But when you coach guys and you coach guys with the IQ to win, ain't nothing like that.
hmm
It's nothing like that because you got to deal with guys that can pick up guys when they fail.
Mm.
Like that. That's the difference to me. And then it's the thinking part of the game, man. Them guys, like we talking about shortstop and third and all that. I'm telling you, I experienced times when them guys made decisions, and I looked up and I said, all right, I mean, because they had a feel for the game. We watching it and thinking we calling stuff, but they had a better feel for it out there.
hmm
It's hard to find guys like that. It's just hard. It's hard. So I want to ask Tep a question. Because I
Seven,
thought about
Seven,
something
you
when you
still
was
on the
talking
line,
about
Seven?
the surface at Kingston Park. The surface. I'm gonna ask you a question. Was it fast, super fast, or average? Because I always thought the ball. It was like playing on turf to me. I just want to ask him because I seen him dive for balls that obviously people couldn't get, but I always said he
I
got
think
up quicker than anybody I ever seen.
I think sometimes, depending on, I think sometimes depending on the weather, it can be very slick.
Yeah,
Fast.
that more.
But when it was, yeah, Seven said it was fast. He said it was super fast.
Fast. I would
He
say
said it was
that.
fast.
I
Seven,
thought
am I
that too.
right? Seven, am I right? Sometimes it depending on the time of the year, it can be like real slick, like you said, that's super fast, and it can be sometimes the where it can be slowed down a little bit. Like you can actually see the hops while it's there. You know, um,
Well, he said super fast.
he said super fast. Well, a lot of guys, Magic said super fast. Reggie said super fast.
I think that was a factor because we used to. I know
He
this
said it
sounds
was the
crazy.
coding. He said it was the
The,
coding, not like Gershwin,
right.
the coding.
The first 3 innings of the game. Remember, everybody talk about the new ball, the new
I
ball.
see what you're saying. Seven.
That was an important part of the game. I thought because the ball was moving. Because I'm going to say this in closing. I think the difference in our league was the hate. Some people say that hate's an emotion. So it was emotion and speed. That was I think that's what made the league unique. I seen y'all play in all kind of leagues. No speed and emotion was like that part.
Mm-mm.
I think that's what made it. You take a guy like Jacob, right? For all his antics or whatever, he did some physical things at times. It was like Eric Weiss.
Crazy.
They did some physical
Yeah.
things at times. Just like what? Oh my, like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
they did. So that you seen that on a weekly basis. You
Yeah.
seen things that I seen Milk climb up that fence.
Mm-hmm.
He had it down to a science. He's like Spider-Man
Mm-hmm.
and came down and make a balanced throw.
No,
Mm-hmm. That's right.
no.
Right. Can't deny that.
Nope. You know what I mean?
You don't see that. I mean, how do you don't see that everywhere you go?
No,
Nope.
no.
So we had good. It was all. It was good. It was a great experience. You know, it's a listen, man. I'll be 67 in 2 weeks, right? I look back. I go by that park. I look at the empty, the quietness of it, and I just sit there. I sit there the other day in the car, just looking, and I just put the people out there for a minute, and I put the right field fence, the barbecue pits, the coolers, and the chairs, and all that stuff. In my head, I replay it. All of us after we played didn't leave,
No,
right?
no, you're 100%.
All of us stayed out there and watched
Mhm.
and watched, and we left late. So I think those things we should all remember. I know I will forever,
Yeah.
forever. It's just who we are. That's who we are. So
Agreed.
everybody say hate. No, I love the hate. I loved it because I think that's what made the league unique.
Mm.
Yeah, it got crazy at times, but that's what emotion do.
What up, family?
It
Wait,
didn't
wait,
stop us from
wait,
coming the next week, did it? Didn't stop me from coming the next week.
mm-mm.
I agree. One of the
You
best
know,
times.
it was Norm. We can set that up, Norm.
That's my man Norm.
Norm is
Cool.
on here. He said he want to do a coaches one. He said
That's my
he
man.
want to do a coaches
Yeah.
one. No, we can definitely do a Zoom coaches. You know, I'm all about that history, so you know, I love it.
My man Norm.
You know, Norm. Shout out to my man Norm.
Norm. I had to
Yeah,
keep an
shout
eye
out
on
to my
Dan
boy
for me.
Booger. My boy Booger, the best street ball player in the business. Best out here. He's checking in. Shout out to Bugs. You know what I'm saying? Coaches, that was great. You know, I think the conversation was great. I think we got what we needed. Gmo's in the building. What up, Mr. Gmo?
The
Go
best right fielder. The best right fielder to play it. Best in that corner.
He better make sure you hit that cutoff. Lenny's right there. Right there.
That's right. Blow him up, coach. Blow him up.
No, but he was disciplined like that. He did that every time. He did it every time.
I appreciate it, Seven. I love to see you guys get on here, man. I love when my brothers get on here, man. I love to see them interact.
Hey,
And this is what it's for, man. You know, and that's why I told T.O. when he put that roster up, I said, hold up, T.O. You can't put that up without us having a conversation. And I
seven,
said,
seven was blowing. Seven was great at picking up that phone. You know what I mean? I asked, especially, I didn't know where a couple of guys played at. Al Watson too. You know what I mean? Al was great. I really, and again, a lot of this was off the top. These are things and people I remember. I know I missed some dudes. There was some faces that I knew I didn't have the names. You know what I mean? I know I forgot some, some guys, and I could have made a couple of more teams, but and keeping true to what the league was. You know what I mean? It was a league that was concentrated with talent. You know what I mean? I felt 4 teams was enough. And
and picking those 4 teams was hard, brother. Like in different positions and EH and DH. I still think Speedy was not hitting 8th and letting somebody hit 4.
well, no, Speedy went. No, I'm not
No.
in Speedy.
Ask Tap. Ask Tap how speed you felt about hitting eight. I don't
You
care
know
who
what
on
I'm
the
saying?
team. Ask Tap and Reggie right now.
It wasn't going.
It's funny because when I saw that, I said, Speedy back 8? Wait a minute. Oh, he's just pitching. Oh no, that ain't working. I already know that. I already knew that wasn't working. That was my first thing when I saw that first list. I said, no, that wasn't working.
You know what I mean? I don't know, man. If I had my own when I first started doing this 4 years ago, I had it broken down, the top four, as a matter of fact, it was just the top three at every spot.
Ooh.
It was the top three at every spot. And, that was really hard to do because I know I didn't, have, the rosters. I know I didn't have everybody, it was just going off the top of my head. It wasn't that easy, but then, I think I think I captured the period well. I think I did, well enough for guys, maybe for a few players here and there to be accepted. And then, we move on from it.
Right. But I think now that you don't put that out there, Tio, now we can go the next 4 teams.
You can
You
do
see what I'm
that.
saying? Like now you can say, like you said, give me the rebuttals. Give me the rebuttals, teams.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't put the template out there.
Yeah.
Now give me a rebuttal. Like Chris, I want you to put that in the chat. That team you put out there, Chris, I want you to put.
I got no problems with that. I got no problems going to war with that mix.
Yeah.
All right, I want to put some shit in the game.
Yeah, I want you to
Who are
put
the top 4 players? Who are the top 4 players?
At each position.
The most talked about players in that Kingston era. I usually go 3, top 4. Because this to me, this helps you understand who's really the Hall of Fame guys. There's 4 guys. I had 3, but I'll give you 4 because I know T.O.'s a nice guy. The top 4 guys, the most talked about players in that era, Kingston era.
Quee, Al, Tep, Quee, Al, Tep, and shit.
Oh boy, I'm laughing. Tep is laughing. I know he's laughing. Go ahead. I want to hear what's. Go ahead, Terry.
Quee, Al, Tep, and oh shit.
Most talked about.
Said talked about.
There's a reason it was talked about.
I'm not gonna even say that. I'm gonna wait for him to get done first before I say something.
Oh shit!
Because I don't want to give him no heads up. I want him to know what my name was.
Oh wow!
I've done
I would have
interviews.
Creek, Al, Tep. I may have to go Speedy.
That's a good one.
It's a good move, coach.
A good one.
I think he's the best I've ever seen. Not throw the ball underhand, slow.
He can hit a little bit.
You know what I mean? I first saw him when I was with the Outlaws and he went up out of there and he went up out of St. John's. I knew who Creek was, Larry Jr. and Black, but the first time I ever saw Speedy, he left the yard and I was like, holy shit. You know what I mean? I think he's the best. He's probably the best pitcher I've had the pleasure of going against, But as far as talked about, Creek, everybody, knew who Al and Tep were. You know what I'm saying? And I think Speedy, as far as being talked about, there are a million ways you can go with that.
I think for me,
a million ways you can go at that. I thought
go 4 ways. 4.
I think Tony Cherry is.
I got it. I got mine.
Yeah. Which
Let me hear yours, Al.
I think since I've done over 200 and something interviews, the 4 people, I'm gonna start with my 3 automatically. Al, 7, and Butch. That's the 3.
Yeah, you see what I mean? You could have won any.
The fourth, whenever you mention a team, D-Mac is the 4th man.
Hmm.
And then my honorable mention will be Speedy.
What 7 said?
7 didn't put nothing up there.
Reggie.
Reggie didn't put nothing
Yeah,
up there.
yeah, I want to hear.
Jamal said Al, 7, Butch, and Speedy.
Yeah. I mean, you can go a million fucking
What's
ways.
they call that? A combination lock? You can figure out a different combination all the time.
Yeah, man, because I think if there's an all professional group out there also. I mean, just straight.
No, coach, I want 4 because those 4 guys. I can ask this another question. Wait,
No,
if you had to start a team, those 4 guys shouldn't be a problem being your first guy. That's how I look at it.
oh,
If you had to start a team, there's 4 guys you could start your team with. You just named 2 or 3 that's kind of locks.
well, the first 3. Listen, you're starting a team with them 3.
Who's the
Al,
4th?
7, and Butch. You definitely starting with them 3. Like you're starting with them 3.
No, but he said most talked about.
Yeah,
Well, he just said. Talk. Well,
But
there's
now,
a reason.
if you're going to start, if you're going to build your team, you know what I mean? Then you're going to go with a shortstop. You're going with a pitcher, a shortstop. You know what I mean? You're going to go with a center fielder more than likely, as if you're going to choose an outfielder, and then you're going to choose a corner infielder or some, corner. If you're going to, if you're going to build it.
You're right. If Reg said Chris LeGree, Tep, D Mac, and Al Watson.
Wow.
That's not bad. Gmo said Tep, Al Watson, Speedy, and Butch.
Okay. My 4, right, is 7, 20, 72, and Speedy.
Larry can't go. It's a combination lock. You don't know. You can go. That 4th one is the key. But that
I know.
But that 3, that 4th.
You know what? Hey, let me tell you something. If you gave me Larry Edwards in that 4, I'd be fine.
I got no problem with that.
None at all.
I got no problem.
Why would we even think about having a problem with that?
If you gave me Junior, I wouldn't cry. If you gave me Delroy, I wouldn't cry.
When you said talked about Junior, when you said talked about.
Yeah,
you said talked about.
Yeah, all right. Talked about
those. I thought
7 and 20.
What about Junior as well, man?
Freak. No, he's a freak athlete.
Freak.
Yeah.
Freak. I mean, there was a period, man. He was over at the John. He was hitting about 700-800, man. I'm not talking about. I'm not going to talk about the job he did for me over there, but I mean, he just hits every fucking thing. He was 58 years old, Chris. This was maybe 2 years ago. He's 58. I brought him out to play modified, all right, without warming up. Motherfucker goes 3 for 4. And this is modified.
Yeah, where did he hit the ball? What was the 3 hits at? I bet you it's all different.
Smoke the third baseman. All right. Smoke the third baseman between the hole between short and second, and then the line drive to right.
Listen.
Line drive to right? Wow.
Yeah, believe that shit. And this was
modified.
Modified.
Yeah, but he hit line drives. It was only 3.5 feet high.
And check it out. The manager from the other team, he says, dude, he says, how old are you? You know what I mean? This ain't the 40 and older. Junior told him 58. You know what I mean? And I told all these young dudes, I'll bet money right fucking now against any one of you. This dude is 58. And this, I bet right now, if you want to go 10 for 10 swings, I got $100 on this man against any one of you youngins.
Yeah. You
Listen,
know what I see? Hey
I
Al,
see him
hey Al,
play.
you know it's common in all the guys you're talking about?
Yeah.
They could beat you in a lot of different ways.
Name three.
Like I use Tep and Al, right? I'm gonna use them. They could bounce the ball through the infield and get a double,
Mhm,
right? They could
mhm,
obviously defensively turn games,
Mm.
right?
mhm.
They also have the ability to take a walk, to drive the ball in different places. Here's the intangible thing I think too. They know how to make their teammates better.
Mm.
You
Because you
right.
can give me a guy that's 4 for 5, big day, but some guys don't impact the game same way. I'm
You ra-
Agreed.
telling you.
you
Agreed.
raise your level of play to match theirs.
Yes,
Yeah.
You
that's
know
what.
what I mean?
Yes,
And that's
yes,
why you played with those guys because
yeah.
you wanted to be on that level.
I had one. I had nine. I mean, nine.
Guys want to play with them.
Yes.
Nine was my dude, man. I,
You
I
can't.
mean,
You
I,
can't teach that. They ain't coaching. That's
no,
Larry on here. Shout out the 9 that's on the check-in.
that's that was. I
who's that?
mean,
Larry Edwards,
Larry
He's in
Evans,
the
man,
check-in. He's
straight.
in the check-in.
You know,
competitor,
and
competitor,
and
competitor.
you in battle against this guy from my early fucking 20s. There is no better competitor. Alpha dog, true alpha dog.
No, he's one of my all times. I
Yeah.
mean, I talk about him a lot. He's one of my all times.
And the dude that had about a 600 or 700 OBP. I mean, the guy stayed on. I mean,
I don't know how he chopped the shit out
get
that
out of the
ball in
fucking ball.
mid-air.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
But,
master,
but, but
the
with any
master,
pitch,
the
with any
master.
pitch,
yeah.
Close to
all
being out.
straight in. And here's the thing: you knew he was chopping that shit. You knew it.
True weapon,
Yeah.
true weapon. But I got to tell you,
Come on, man.
Chris, when honestly and truly, when Johnny Blaze came over, I thought I had it won. That year when Reggie came over, you know, I honestly and truly I thought I had it won. I mean, winning follows this guy. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
you know, I still remember he was playing in a full leg fucking brace. He's playing for you. He had a full leg brace on. It was one of them short pop ups. He went down on the fucking ground to grab it. You ran out of the dugout and picked him up. I was going. I went back home. Driving home, I was almost silent. You know what I mean? Thinking about that particular image on the way home that night. You know what I mean? More than anything for me personally. You know what I'm saying? More than anything about the league and the players and everything were great. But the
We all had
highlight
moments.
for me was seeing you on the other side
Yeah. We all
of
had
the
moments.
sideline. You know what I mean? The
We all had
highlight for me.
moments.
And I still think the best doubleheader we ever played was the 9-7 split on Atlantic Avenue.
Atlantic Avenue. Never liked Atlantic Avenue.
Oh,
Nope. You
please,
always
man.
tried to switch to Fields.
The 9-7 split on it. Look, man, if Jeff,
Chris hated that side of the field.
I hated it, man. I hated Atlantic Avenue, man.
He used to go out there. Nobody's playing on that side. Can we switch when the game was over?
I never liked Atlantic Avenue. I
yeah,
just didn't. And I think that anyway,
Frankie
I'm
Rodgers.
I'm getting off the call and I'm gonna cause the real issue. Who's the greatest player ever played out there?
You bugging out now.
You start trouble.
So, come on,
Bugging
we
out.
got down to 4. Who's the guy? Who's the guy?
I mean, you picking one person, the greatest to ever.
Yeah, one. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think we might could table it for another time, but
I think that's something to table for another time because
yeah, it
Right,
probably
right.
is. But
It's
it's
just
for
like
thought.
just like in the NBA, you building your all-time team. Who you choosing first? Most people gonna go with Jordan, right?
yeah, or some people gonna go with LeBron, but then you got to go with your man
Uh,
who had more rings than all of them.
Russell.
Exactly.
Bill Russell.
He's the greatest winner in team sports history.
Mhm.
Most dominant player of all time is Shaq.
You think?
I think so. There's nobody dominating more than him.
More than
Shit, Wood scored 101 game. I don't give a fuck what era that is. You know what I mean? It don't make no difference. He scored 101 fucking games. And there was only one other player on the planet that did that shit. And wasn't that Reggie's sister?
Cheryl. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but
Coach Russell won 11 championships, a national championship, Olympic gold. He's the greatest team sport winner ever. But I don't get Kingston Park. Who's the greatest player?
if you asking me who I'm going to choose first, if you asking me who I'm going to choose first, that's going to be number 20.
Okay.
And you know what?
I'm building the fucking team. I'm either going to go pitching or shortstop first.
I'm torn because I'm going between 7 and 20.
Okay.
Those are my two brothers. So I'm torn between them two, hands down. Like I'm not.
You only can pick one.
You can only pick one.
It's funny. I won with both of them, so you can't. So,
Alta.
yeah, I won with both of them. So, but you know, if I had to pick one, you know, I'll go with Deuce. I'll go with 20.
Reggie, what Reggie said?
Reg left. Gordon said 7. Marvin said heavy. Oh, Reg said no comment. Jamal said Butch Nelson. That's not a bad pick.
How many? You it's almost you can't go wrong with it. You can't go wrong.
Whoever you pick, you can't go.
How you going wrong? How you going wrong? You know what I mean? How you going wrong? If you were in the draft, if I were in the draft and 20 was off the board, I'd probably go 7. You know what I mean? Again, I'm going to go pitching or shortstop first. You know what I mean? I'm going pitching or shortstop first.
Here's the hit. If you look at Speedy, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was shut down a lot with pitching and tremendous power.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
And Jerome, 7 to tell you this. Jerome was fast as shit. He could run the bases. He could do a lot.
Yes.
All right. So for me, if you pick first and you pick somebody, I'm picking him first. I'll let you. No, I'm just saying if you pick first. Now, if I had to pick first, I'll make a decision. But I'm just telling you, he's one that. Listen, he won a lot. He can really hit, Coach. He's a power guy, right?
He's the first guy I've ever put out there in Showtime.
T.O., I got one. Since you know what, since Coach want to start some trash on here.
Blowing it up.
Yeah.
No. Is it 32 teams in the NBA, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. I propose let's have a live Kingston Park draft.
Okay.
Well, we can do that. We can dance.
And we would Bob, you know, we'll go through the numbers, see who picked first to the last pick, and then we'll do that. We'll do 5 rounds.
Oh, we can definitely do that.
We'll do 5 rounds.
We can definitely go there.
And people can pick their team. You get 10 picks. Well, we do 11. How's about that?
Who's picking first?
You pull the numbers out of the fucking hat.
We're gonna have to pull that out the hat, baby. It's
You
gonna
have the ping pong balls.
it's gonna have to be a hat. You know what I'm saying? Whoever wants to get in, we're gonna have to I'm gonna put their name on the ball. I'm gonna get the ball rack together, and we're gonna do a draft, a Kingston Park draft.
That's right. That's right.
That's nuts. I like it. I like
you
it.
damn
I
right.
think that's crazy.
Well, we
We're
can do
already
that.
here. We're talking about it now. Why not go all the way with it? Get your board together. Let people do their homework.
That's right.
And I'll set a date for when we can do the draft pick, who gets their pick, the order, and then we'll do another one where we actually have the live draft.
Yeah.
I sure like to see Vinny's picks. I pay for TNT. I get Kenny, Charles, and Shaq the narrate. I would love to hear Vinny's pick.
Oh man, this is good. This is good.
Oh, man.
I think I'll pick second because I'm gonna let somebody make a mistake.
I you know what? I don't even want the first pick. I want that middle pick, that 4th or 5th pick.
I don't care where I go.
Well, listen, the 4 we talked about, you can't go wrong if you get one of them as your one.
Nope.
I think
That's a fact.
Nope.
Agreed.
Nope. You can't go. How you go wrong? How you go wrong?
I don't think so. Then is one name I ain't mentioned. I'm a hole in the pocket.
I don't think so. I don't think you go wrong at all.
Because we forgot 1 or 2 persons. I ain't gonna get into that. Because I got my little list right in front of me right now.
See, Chris, he starts. You know what? We're gonna have to do this when I come up there. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Blow it the fuck up. Blow it up. You know what I mean?
Okay, hold on. We got somebody coming in. Tap said Leon was my idol. Al Watson was my favorite. Butch Nelson was my most all-around shortstop ever.
Mm.
Wow.
Hey, look, you got Cal Ripken. You got Cal Ripken, Derek Jeter, Cal Ripken, and Ozzie Smith. Can you go wrong with either one of them?
Yo, this
Speedy's in the building.
Speedy's on?
Speedy's in the building.
Uh-oh. Hey, Jerome, Terry batting you 8th.
Oh, God.
Hey, yo, Speedo.
I can see his face. Look at his face.
Look at the rest of the lineup, Speedo.
Right.
No. You don't want to hear that. You know what he's going to say? Nothing.
No, won't say a
He
word.
won't say, but he'll have a look on his face. You look in that bench after the first couple of hitters.
You know that heat coming off. You know that heat. And look, every time he walk by you, he gonna look at you too crazy. Like, and don't let the person in front of him don't get a hit.
Oh, oh no, yo. You know what? You know now that you just blew. This just flashed in front of me, right? This ain't got nothing to do with Kingston, right? This is why I love my man 9, right? It was a game in St. John's, and it was a close game, and Larry's brother was up, Chill was up. You know what I mean? But he pinch hit for him. You know what I mean? I believe with Creek, and I think Creek made an out. You know what I'm saying? Now, do you know that Chill went the fuck off, you know what I mean, on Larry? I mean, he went fucking bananas. You know what I mean? But it was a move that had to be made. You know what I'm saying? It was the most logical move, you know what I mean, to make. And then when it didn't happen, he went the fuck off. Now, you telling me if the motherfucker in front of Speedy didn't get a hit, he was gonna blow his ass?
Oh, Speedy about to kill somebody, dude. You must be crazy. Cause you know he first thinking like, so this is why you got me not hitting.
Well, yo, listen, let's go a step further. Ask Jerome right now.
He just said, I'll be happy just to be able to get some at bat. Speedy, stop.
Now
Stop,
he's
Speedy.
60. Yo, hey, Al, now he's 66.
He's
He can
60.
say that.
He's older now. He's mellow.
Yeah. Hey, Al,
Uh-huh.
ask Jerome how many times in his playing career he batted eighth.
He hear you. He hear you.
0.
Riz.
Yeah,
Shout out
but
to
look,
Riz.
you gotta look at the rest of the lineup, Speedo. It ain't
Mr.
like this.
Diaz. Appreciate that flyer, big homie. Thank you for doing the 860 flyer. Appreciate you, brother.
Jerome, how many times you hit eighth in your career?
Probably never.
Wait for him to reply.
Never.
He said
That's
50,
like,
he said 56 don't want to be.
yeah.
But he said none.
That's my.
I know the answer to that.
Yeah, that's my brother right there, Speedo.
You know.
You know, Speedy can tell you this. Speedy was the first person that I used to hang out with in his house and look at him with the pitches with the batters. He had a book.
Yep.
And he knew the pitches he threw these guys. And he had a book when he played them. So you know, I'm young. Speedy, my name in the book? Yeah. Let me see my name. He went like
Now this, this is amazing. This is the first time I'm hearing this, and this is exactly why, you know what I mean. This is such a rich story, you know what I mean, to tell. You know what I mean? The preparation, the seriousness, you know what I mean, the focus, on this league. How much more different is this, than Jay-Z dropping a bag off, you know what I mean, to get one of the best point guards in the fucking world. You know what I'm saying? It's those backstories and things behind the scenes, you know what I mean, that got into the table here.
You see what you just said, T.O., about Jay-Z dropping the bag off? Wild Bunch used to drop the bag off to players. Those are true stories.
Hey, look, man.
Al, I got one for you. I was known for coming out to speak to the pitcher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
This is true, and Jerome will tell you. When I used to go out to the mound when Jerome was pitching, I knew he really wouldn't. I ain't say he wasn't paying attention to what I was saying, but I got into it. Jerome never, ever gave feedback. If I was saying we got to keep it, whatever we were saying, right? I was out there talking to the infielders. I wasn't talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll tell you that. Everybody, if you think back, everybody was to come to the mound.
Mm-hmm.
I used that time really was talking about positioning because he already had in his mind how to get somebody out.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that. That's like Big Tep. That's like Tep Senior. What you gonna tell him, man? Make sure you get the guy out. You know.
Please, that ain't happening.
No, I'm just saying that he had his mind. He knew how he wanted to get the guys out. He knew the guys well. Like you said, he had the book.
A weapon.
You know, it's pretty interesting what happens out there, man. It's pretty interesting.
Blessed.
He's one of the best that ever did it, really.
Oh yeah, without question, a bona fide. But you had two of the best bona fide weapons in the key positions. You know what I'm saying? In which you needed to have them. You know, I didn't have a shortstop. And I just found out today that Ruben Rivera, my first shortstop, died 6 years ago. I just found out today. I was looking for him on Facebook or whatever over the years. Another guy, you know what I mean? And he was with me, and I just, didn't think of him. But he passed away from, I believe it was liver cancer or 6 years ago.
That's
You know?
that's very true. Seven. How he said? Do you realize how many decades Butch Nelson stayed consistent at shortstop?
Please, man. What you
Wow.
know, just I mean, he's one of my favorites, man. You
Wow.
know, Butch Nelson, he's unflat, totally unflappable. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't rattle this motherfucker if he was eating a cereal and you blew a cherry bomb next to him, he wouldn't flinch. You know what I mean? You couldn't shake him. Could I mean uh didn't make fucking errors. You know what I mean? He wasn't as fast as the other two. You understand what I'm saying? But come on, man. Straight vacuum at shortstop. You know what I mean? And he is the head. You know, he's the sit at the head of the table type. You know what I mean? You know, just a winner. You know what I mean? I fucking love the guy. He tried to chop my fucking head off. You know what I mean? And the very first thing I said to him, you know, I said, look, man, whenever you ready to come on over, son,
Oh, agreed. No, seven. You're right. Every type of pitch. Agreed. Yeah, I know what you meant.
it don't
What
matter.
did what did Tep say?
No, Butch was consistent at shortstop on every level. Fast
And
pitch, however you want to call it, modified art. He was very consistent.
true
You're
And
right.
player,
a leader on the
a
field.
leader of men. Believe that. One of the few guys in that park that could call anybody out. One of the few. You know what I mean? And you had, there was Tony Cherry, another one. You know what I mean? Come on, man. I think he's one of the most professional players I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he about his business.
Yeah, yeah. I made a bet out in Far Rockaway, right? I made a bet out in Far Rockaway. Tony shows up and he's hitting balls out of the park by his damn self. The bet was called off. He knew after he realized who Tony was, he called the bet off. One of the most professional guys I have ever seen in my fucking life in this profession. Him and Heavy. Well, Heavy is the Willie Stargell of I think he's the Willie Stargell of softball, man. Love him to death.
Definitely. Ain't nothing but great things to say about that dude.
You know, I mean, the big old number 7, man.
Gentlemen, I'm leaving. I'm going to get ready for the draft. I'm going in the war room right now.
My coach, it was a pleasure, man. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. I appreciate both you guys. Thank you. Al asked if he ever see 56 play shortstop, the slim version.
Who asked that?
Speedy.
Well,
I've
me
never,
and, me and Wahoo.
I've never seen you play shortstop.
Well, I seen him. Me play Wahoo. He mentioned Leon. There was a guy that played with Tep's father in Betty Park called Johnny Greenleaf. Johnny Greenleaf played shortstop, I think, for the Spoilers. He had maybe the greatest arm anybody ever played in Brownsville softball league. You asked Tep Senior about Johnny Greenleaf. Leon charged the ball better than anybody I've ever seen. Tep would tell you how he used to. He wouldn't. That guy was a monster. The way he attacked balls, but I don't know. Wahoo was one of the best. All this shit you see now in the pros now, and they got these good infielders playing the outfield. Well, Dave Goldstein had Wahoo in center field before that was popular, and his arm is legendary. He's another guy. He threw the ball like see the way Milk used to throw the ball on the line all the time. He is good. All these guys that we talked about tonight, 7, 20, all that, Speedy, they had the IQs. Reggie, They had IQs,
Mm.
softball IQ, baseball IQs. You can't teach that. I think that's what winning's about to me. You gotta have players that make adjustments out there, and then and they understand what you gotta do when they down. They understand the game. Double plays. We used to always say the double play. Get the first fucking out. The biggest out was this force out. It wasn't the double two. You gonna double up 7?
No.
No. So we always play get this. I mean, he had a lot of ground balls for force outs, but it's little things. That's what I miss about the game is like the chess match of it. I
Yes.
miss that.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
miss
sir.
that part of it. I love it. I loved it. Sometimes it didn't work for you. Everybody talk about Jerome when he threw his jersey and didn't play and all that. If we had a loss, how would I explain not playing him?
Mm-hmm.
We just got away with it. We got away with it that day. I love you guys. I I'll talk to you guys later. I'm going to the war room.
Stay
All
up,
right,
coach.
Coach. I appreciate you.
Peace and love to everybody, man. Let's enjoy life because this shit is a short run, bro.
You got
Fact.
that
See you
right.
later. All right.
Great job. I'll I'm going to get the rebuttal team out there, but I'm ready for the draft.
Yeah, we're gonna get that draft thing going, and we're gonna put
How many how many teams you doing?
uh, we're gonna do as many teams as we can for Kingston. I mean players. It's 32 in the NBA, 32 teams. I'm assuming. So I figure we can create our own teams. 11. We figure we can. Uh,
Well, if you're going to do, I kept realistically, there were 15 to a roster plus
Four
4
subs.
base coaches. That's 64.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So just with this list alone, that's 64 players.
But we
On,
know that it's more than that. We know it's more than that. Just with your
yeah.
list, we didn't even. Yeah, so we know it's over 100 plus players that came to that farm.
So that means we're talking 6 times 15, that's 90. You know what I mean? I think 90 is I think 90 is good. 16.
Okay.
You would need six managers, 15 rounds each. I mean, 15 rounds.
That's a lot of rounds.
Yeah. But you get, or
Do we want to spread it out?
if you do 8, that'd be 88. 88 88 11s. Yep, that would 88. If you do 8 teams, that's 88. And then you shrink the roster size down. So what you're actually drafting would be the your starting lineup.
But in the draft, do we want subs as well, like your EH and your DH and those extra two? Forget the coaches. Forget the coaches. We want the EH and the DH as well. You manage it how you want, like a fantasy draft, like the football fantasy draft.
That's exactly what this is.
Yeah, like a fantasy football draft. And I think we can. I'm gonna see how you can put it together where you have your 3 outfielders, your shortstop, your second base, your catcher, your third base, you know,
Uh-huh.
first pitcher, and then you
EH.
have your scub. Then you have your subs.
Well, then again, it depends on how many teams you have.
But we can see how many people who want to participate. We can break it off and say 8 teams or 10 teams, and and then we'll break it off to that way to where we have it position by position. People, but do we put people in a pool, or do we just
Well,
let people pick who you want?
we already have our player pool.
Right, we had to play a pool. Okay.
We already got our player pool. We just we draft them, and it's not like we have the rosters or anything else.
Right.
You know, so a lot of this is still going to come off the top of most of the guys. Most of the heads.
Agreed. I think let everybody pick who they want, but we're gonna give people enough time to do their homework, especially the ones that's gonna be involved. You know.
You got to choose. If 8 is usually, I think 11 rounds, 8 teams, 11 rounds, 88 players. I think that's about right.
That's a good. I mean, that's a good number. You know,
Yeah.
8 teams, 8 people.
You need 8. You need 8 managers.
Maddie Ice, what up, Maddie?
That's my man Matt.
Matt on check in.
Matt, that straight up fucking hybrid. Put him anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Put Matt anywhere, man.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorites, man, of all time. What a big Matt.
I think I've seen Matt play all 9 positions. Except I didn't see him catch, but I think he played.
Man,
all
I didn't even know he pitched like that, man.
Yeah, I saw him pitch. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know.
Delroy, what up, my guy?
The greatest offensive second baseman of the period.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
good, Tio. I'm glad we got this done. I'm glad the
man.
conversation happened. Now we're just going to work on that draft, and
Yes, sir.
I don't have to be in it. I can actually moderate it and just make sure everything is going smoothly as far as picks and who goes pick where and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And we'll just go from there.
Roger Goodell.
Gotcha.
But thank you very much, everybody. I love all of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? See y'all at the next round.
See y'all later. Peace and love. Thanks, Tio.
Same here, baby. Take care.
All right, family. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in tonight. It was a great conversation with my 2 brothers. Don't forget July 14th, the Jersey Party, 860 Jersey Party. July 15th, All-Star Saturday with the Four Balls crew. Don't forget about that. Everybody, I look forward to seeing everybody this year. Have a great time. We will be doing that draft. Be on the lookout for that draft. We're going to put it together and see how it goes. All right. Thanks, Jamal. Appreciate you, King. Appreciate you. I appreciate everybody that tune in and show support to me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I do it for you. Like I always say, I do it for you. And I love these conversations. I just love the history. I love it. Yeah. You see, TL keeps sparking, baby. He spark up. But everybody, enjoy your evening. Have a great week at work or whatever you're doing, retirement. And I'll see you guys later. 860 out. Peace.